Hello, everyone, and welcome to Testing Grounds, a show where we like to showcase off new games and the communities around them. Before we get started, I have a couple of announcements to make regarding GDQ. So, AGDQ 2021 online game submissions and volunteer applications are live right now until the end of October 4th. So, if you're interested in being a runner or a volunteer for the event, you can go to gamesdonequick.com to get your submissions in. You can check out all of the different GDQ Hotfix VODs as well as past GDQ runs on our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to youtube.com/gamesdonequick. And you can also feel free to tweet at us at gamesdonequick to tell us what you're interested in. An all-woman speedrunning event, Frame Fatales, returns with another event, Fleet Fatales, online on November 15th, 2020. You can go to gamesdonequick.com/framefatales for more info. Tomorrow we have Runners Wanted, where we're going to be seeing both Silhouette Mirage and Tomb Raider Underworld. But with that, that leads us to here today. We have Testing Grounds. Again, we want to showcase off a couple different games today, a couple games that came out within the last few months. This first game we're going to be showcasing off is Evergate, and we're actually going to be having 3 different categories today. So we're going to be having any percent, 100%, and then also a low percent showcase for Evergate, and then we're going to be following that up with Sheepo. So with that, we have our first runner for Evergate here today. We have Black Rose, and Black Rose is going to be showcasing off any percent. So welcome, Black Rose.
Hello everyone, my name's Black Rose and I'll be running any percent today. I'm here with...
Oh, sweet. I guess that's our cue. Hi, I am Chongo. I'm going to be performing 100% later and helping commentate this run.
And I'm Sunny Muffin. I also run this game, but slower than the other two, so you're going to be listening to me for the next 2 runs.
Alright then, without any further ado, let's get the run started in 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, so this is Evergate. It's made by a bunch of really great people over at Stone Lantern. It came out officially on, Steam and the Switch about a month ago? Was it that long?
About a month ago.
Dang, feels like a lot longer already. But essentially, the story of this game is you are a soul of someone who has just passed away, and you must make your way through reincarnation. However, it turns out the afterlife is in trouble, and in order to save it, you have to go through some memories of a kindred spirit in order to save the day. That's essentially the story, and you're going to see that it's, basic sort of 2D platformer fare. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, so Evergate is a 2D puzzle platformer, and it is split up into several different worlds, and each level is kind of its own little puzzle. We're going to be starting off right here with the tutorial section. Nothing really super special here. You're getting the Soul Flame ability, which is this game's main gimmick. The Soul Flame comes out of Key, who's our little spirit here, and connects to Source. This Soul Flame is going to be used to break crystals and complete puzzles.
Exactly. So right here, this is just a sort of general, tutorial on. Oh, it's a little bit stuck, but. Uh-oh. Whoa.
All right. I think we're having some technical difficulties here. Black Rose did mention this to us a little bit earlier, so we are going to be right back. We're just going to go to a quick break, and we'll be right back. You can type Panic Basket in chat if you want to. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Testing Grounds, where computers never crash and runs are never restarted. We are here for the first time tonight with Evergate Any percent, featuring Black Rose. How's it going, Black Rose?
I'm doing fine. My PC crashed, but it won't happen again, I'm sure, right?
Yep, knock on wood.
Nothing bad's ever happened in a marathon performance. It's fine. Yeah, feel free to just count us down.
All right, I'll do the countdown in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so this is Evergate. It's a wonderful little indie game made by Stone Lantern Games. It is a 2D puzzle platformer, and it aesthetically gets the comment that it looks a lot like Ori, but you'll see that it plays way differently.
Yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of differences, such as while Ori has a great Metroidvania type style with a lot more exploration, Evergate's a lot more almost arcadey, where it goes level by level, and one of the things that brought me to it, at least. So there are a lot of differences. There's a lot of differences in the mechanics. Aesthetically, it does look very similar, and I think that both games are just beautiful. So once again, the story is that you're a soul, you have been sent to the afterlife, but the afterlife is in trouble. So before you can reincarnate, you have to go through the memories of your kindred spirit, and hopefully figure out how to save the afterlife.
Yep, so like we were saying before, we're getting introduced to the game's soul flame mechanic right here. This is just kind of the unique shtick of the game. Basically, it's a beam of energy that extends out from Key, who's our little soul, and is going to be used to break crystals and complete puzzles like this one in the tutorial right here. You'll see Black Rose is using a keyboard and mouse for this specific section and is going to be using it for most of the run. Basically, the soul flame is going to shoot wherever you point it. If you're on controller, you have to use one of the analog sticks and it shoots in that direction.
Yeah. And there are different mechanics that help out for each different type of control scheme, and because of said mechanics, some levels are easier on controller than they are on mouse and keyboard, depending on your personal preference. And some people, I think Black Rose included on this run, can just switch between controller and mouse and keyboard just between levels. If there's a level that works really well on controller, you can just put down the mouse and keyboard for a second, pick up the controller during the level transition.
Yep, and that's just one of the things that speedrunners have to do to go fast in this game. There is some levels that have controller only strats and some levels that have keyboard mouse only controller only strats. So to be the fastest you can possibly go in this game, you do have to use both control schemes. But don't let that discourage you. If you have a preferred method, you're not really losing that much time by not doing the hybrid control shenanigans.
Absolutely. So right now, essentially, Q's just being told, hey, we should probably send you back to Earth now, your old reincarnation thing. But then this Evergate, the thing that sends you back to Earth, is giving him some memories, and each sort of chapter, as it were, is represented as a book, and it's a book of memories of one of your past lives. And we'll be going very, very quickly through most of the cutscenes, so there won't be really a lot to report on the actions, but it's a very great story. It's got a lot of really great writing in it that I personally love. But either way, we're going to see this soul flame in action. The way it works is you have to connect it to the white floor, which is known as the source, and if there's a crystal between you and the source when you fire it, it'll do all sorts of fun stuff. These yellow crystals are called boost crystals, and they will, surprisingly, boost you sort of rocket style up into the air from whichever opposite direction you've been firing from.
Yeah, so these boost crystals are the first type of crystal we're going to be introduced to, and they just kind of fling you around the map. They are angle dependent, so like if you want to get as much speed as possible, you want to be as horizontal to the crystal as possible. Same with vertical, you want to be completely vertical if you want to get the most height. This strat right here on 1-4 is probably one of the most notorious strats for killing early runs. You have to hit the boost crystal and get as much height as possible, and then chain the ones that are on the far right to kind of skip about half of that level. Going around is really, really slow.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of the strats that you see here are going to be absolutely phenomenal. And I think, oh, it's not for the next level. I was going to bring up artifacts, but that's not happening quite yet.
You got like 8 seconds and it's going to happen.
All right. Well, I was about to say something else. But anyway, we got artifacts now. So the way it works is as the game progresses, as you complete certain tasks in the game, you get stuff called essence. If you collect enough essence in a certain world, you will get an artifact. These artifacts can give you sort of different things that'll boost your abilities. So the one that he has equipped right now is called Lucky Frog, and that one makes boost crystals give you just a little bit more boost.
Yep, the Lucky Frog is going to be used for the first part of the game as well as one chapter in the middle. It's just the first artifact that you get, so it really doesn't make sense to not use it at this point in the game. It does speed up a couple of these levels by a marginal amount, and equipping it takes virtually no time, so might as well.
Right. So here we have our second type of crystal. These are called I don't think. Wait, I probably don't have the exact name, but they make platforms underneath them. Is there a specific name that I don't know about?
These are the Earth crystals.
Earth crystals, of course. So these are the Earth crystals, and they make platforms underneath you. And this is something that was in a previous level, but something you can take advantage of is when a platform is made underneath you, it refreshes your jump, even if you're moving upward. So one thing that you did in that first level is if you jump, and then right as you leave the ground, you fire at an Earth crystal, you'll be able to just basically get a double jump.
Yeah, so you see Rose abusing this on this particular level to gain a little bit of extra height and go around the right-hand side of that level. That strategy is really, really hard to do. It's one of Rose's he's usually fairly consistent at it. This level introduces the crow mechanic. While we're in Darkwoods, there are certain levels that whenever you break a crystal, you have a crow fly across the screen. They're mildly annoying, but mostly in the speedrun we tend to ignore them because we just go faster.
Yeah, if you're going fast, you don't need to worry about crows. That's the first lesson you learn.
For sure.
And something that you might have noticed about these different flowers is that on one hand, there are two ways that you can break them. One is if you fire a boost crystal using that as the source. So if you point to it with a boost crystal, then they'll open up to reveal fun sweets inside. But also, if a crow runs into it, then it will also open up. And that's World 2.
Yeah, some really impressive precision aiming there on KBM. This is that level in particular is very difficult to be able to hit some of those shots. As the camera is kind of panning out from the start of the level, it makes some of those really, really difficult to hit because you not only have to deal with the moving character, you have to deal with the moving camera.
Yeah, absolutely. As someone who's been starting up on mouse keyboard controls, some of this just exactness of this is amazing. Coming up next, we're going to be going to the Lunar Festival, where we introduce our new type of crystal, fire. If there's a little wall in the way that's made of the white source, then you can burn it up with the fire crystal.
Yep, and on this level, Rose does a cool strat here by only using one of those boost crystals at the bottom. He doesn't get a ton of height, which if you get a ton of height, you waste time falling back to the ground, and then doing a pretty precise shot with that fire crystal to burn the source and get that platform to move.
And what we just saw right there, if you aim it just perfectly from a bottom side, you can actually hit the opposite corner, even if it isn't facing you. It's very, very precise, and sometimes it takes a lot of shots, but Black Rose is pretty dang good at it.
I'm a little disappointed that he's not going for the skip here, but there is a strat on that where you don't have to ride the dragons, but it's
I think I know what it is. Yeah, there's some really fun strats. So this is another fun one where you just sort of skip half the level. Most of the level, really, just by going right up the middle.
Yeah, there is actually an alternate route for any percent that gets the dragon head artifact. You have to collect all of the petals in all of the levels in Lunar Festival to unlock the dragon head, but then you get to use the dragon head for the remainder of the run. Rose is not doing that route. He's going with the simpler firecracker tail route. It has some slower strats, but it comes out to fairly even because you have to take the time to unlock the dragon head.
Yeah, was that you who did that route, or was that
No, that was Grandius and Axe.
Oh yeah, Grandius, yeah. That was who I was thinking of. So now he has unlocked your new favorite artifact, the Firecracker Tail, which just gives you 25% speed. And since this is, a speed run, speed is pretty important. And now he's going to have that for the rest of the run. So quick question, does Black Rose do 4-1 with a mouse and keyboard?
Yeah, he does everything on mouse keyboard except for the strong level.
I am amazed by the fact that he does this next level with mouse and keyboard. All right, so this next is this one is the Blizzard. It's crystals can teleport you and don't blink.
Yeah, and you can do this level as fast as you can move your mouse. So the IL strat for this is absolutely insane. You go super, super quick, and you can just spam those swap crystals. The Blizzard is introducing these swap crystals. Basically, you will take your positioning and swap it with whatever source that you hit. And if that source is a box, then you're going to swap with that box. It leads to some really interesting puzzle sections in the 100% run, but in the 80% run, it definitely just makes you go really fast as you skip majority of these levels.
Absolutely, it's one of the more fun mechanics of the game.
Cool little strat here. As you're loading in, key is actually a little bit off the ground, and you can use that to gain a little bit more height when you first restart that level, and it allows you to hit that swap crystal really easy and skip to the end of the level.
It's something else. All right, so this is going to be a very, very accurate. What? There it is.
Yeah, that shot is really, really finicky. You have to be facing a certain direction, and you have to be at like a really precise position on that bottom platform to hit the corner of that source right there while hitting the swap crystal. And it is really, really irritating to miss it a couple times in a run, but you got it pretty quickly.
Yeah, especially because of the snow going on, but we couldn't even have time to talk about that.
Yeah, it's still...
we'll probably talk about it a lot in 100%.
Yeah, and that strat is still faster than doing it the slow way, even if you waste a couple seconds there.
Yeah. Alright, so now we go to the summer hunt. This crystal essentially shoots an arrow out from it, as you will see right there. You can use to destroy rock walls, and all sorts of other things.
God, that strat is so good.
I just noticed he doesn't even move his mouse, he just shoots both of them. I never even caught that.
Yeah, so the gimmick here is you're going to be using the arrow to break some terrain, as well as deal with our caribou friends up here. So this level is introducing the caribou. You have to hit the caribou with a missile to get rid of the terrain over the end gate. And then there's going to be a couple of levels like this where you have to hit multiple caribou in order to unlock the end.
Yep. This is I was about to say, this one has 2. Oh. And there it is.
That strat is so hard.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him do that before.
So yeah, here we're combining the missile crystals with the flame crystals to break these ice walls. So if you hit the two directly in a row, your arrow crystal is now on fire, and it can break the icy terrain.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different combinations if you line up 2 different crystals in a line. Like it didn't quite show in this one, but like if you line up the teleport and boost, then you teleport, and then also you get a jump from there. There's the teleport and the earth crystal, which is basically you teleport somewhere and a platform's automatically placed underneath you. There's a lot of really fun stuff when it comes to combining some of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of varied strats throughout this game as well. As he was doing that, he purposely did not use his jump, so he just kind of walked off that little platform, did the swap crystal, and then had the extra jump to get to the platform and then shoot the arrow crystal.
Bingo. Alright, so coming up we have World 6, the Northern Lights, Aurora Borealis, located entirely within this kitchen. Essentially, this introduces the rifts, which are essentially just little black holes you can swim in. Very, very fun.
Yeah, these void rifts are a little bit finicky. The momentum when you are exiting them, it depends how fast you're moving toward the exit of them for the speed that you get. So you want to be moving very quickly as you try to exit these little void spheres in order to go very fast. And Rose has a special strat here. Ooh. This one's fun.
CC?
Yup.
I want to see it.
Oh man, he made that look easy.
Yeah, he really did. Oshi, you can definitely vouch that he made it look nice and easy. So that's called a CC, where essentially you can find a way to hit the corner just right so you get a second jump off of it. And CCs are very, very difficult. I don't think I've ever actually done one before.
Yeah, and in particular on that level, you have to basically trust your jump. You have to be moving as far left as possible and then gain a ton of height, like max height for that jump, in order to be able to actually hit the void crystal and finish the level. So we are moving right along. Some of the places of terrain have like little micro ledges on them where you can land, key, and jump off of them. So a lot of the barriers in this game you can just kind of jump onto and then use that little micro ledge to jump over them. So that was an unintended skip right there that Rose did in order to finish this level very quickly. All right, we're going to see a fun strat here. This strat going over the left side of the level is pretty precise. You have to have a lot of horizontal movement and then be able to exit that void rift at a pretty precise angle in order to make it over the spikes.
Yeah, that's a very good strat for just passing an auto scroller, which is always a good thing. Also, dramatic zoom. I was like snapping through dialogue because it zooms in on that one spirit and then zooms out, even though the dialogue's already passed. Right.
Yeah, Rose made the hard strats in that chapter look real easy.
He's very good at doing that. All right, so here we are. We are in Great Britain, and here's the new ability of Fireball. Essentially, you turn into a fireball and you can just flame on.
Yeah, so this level, Rose is also abusing that little bit of height that Key gains when he respawns, and is able to kind of use that to jump straight over the level, skipping a pretty long section.
Right. And like most other ones, if you combine sort of multiple fireballs at once, then it can give you stronger effects on your fireballs. If you combine them, obviously they give you more effects, let you go on longer. And this applies to every crystal, except for the swap crystal, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, just giving you examples. Right.
So yeah, and then this level has the gimmick of moving this ball of source through these other source walls, and then you kind of have to play Pong and hit it into this little gap and hit the source.
I will say, shoutouts to Blackout for getting your first try.
Yeah, that level is not easy.
Yeah, it's a pain. You'll probably see me getting angry at it.
That was also pretty very good strat.
I have not seen that strat. There's a lot of strats I just missed a little bit.
Yeah, this strat is actually really hard on KBM because you have to do an off-screen shot to that fierce flank over there and get around the left-hand side of the level.
But, just skipping the whole thing.
Again, making it look easy.
Right. So as you can see, we have a little purple guy trying to talk to Key. This is probably important for the story.
Nah, we don't care about the story. We just want to go fast.
True. Too fast for story. Alright, code up next, we have pull crystals, which pull them towards you, as you might have guessed.
Yeah, so we're moving into Falling Sky. The gimmick in this world is the sky is going to be falling. So most of these levels, not this first run right here, have what is the air raid mechanic, where you have to press a switch and it triggers an air raid. This air raid burns all the source that is underneath it, but it will open up access to these to the end of the gate, end of the level gates. So right here you see that air raid is going to come down, and then you have to get underneath some shelter and then fly over to the end crystal.
Absolutely. Second person is first. This one's pretty fun because you get to use them to fly all the way around the level. You can put up certain stuff. I personally really like that level.
Yeah, that level was kind of a pain to route because the air raid does break all of those source crystals above you and makes things fairly difficult to stay safe and still go fast.
Yeah, and he made that one look super easy. Essentially, that's the one that takes place during the bombing itself, and we just kind of passed by it like it was nothing. So.
Oh, it's cool he's adapting this strat. So on this one, you're using the swap crystals in tandem with the boost crystals to gain a ton of vertical and horizontal movement, and just doing it right there to basically time out that air raid and fly straight to the gate as quickly as possible.
God, watching any percent is really like refreshing after doing all of this, after doing a bunch of 100%.
the strat is so hard. So he starts off with a very, very precise shot to get an angle on the double pull crystal, and it basically sends you all the way to the other side of the map. No other crystals needed. And then you do a little bit of off-screen movement and set yourself back up to traverse the level backwards again.
Absolutely. All right. So we got some fun story stuff, and then the next one is going to be taking place in the far future of 2058, which is the far future, so.
Yeah, the far future with a bunch of EMP grids and drones that want to shoot you. It's super fun.
See, he likes to break the law. Just a little bit of mischief, you know?
Yeah.
And the mechanic of this one is double jump.
Yeah, we're gonna get our auto scroller level on. This level is just hold right. You really can't go any faster than Rose is going to do here. You do have to swap back to the Firecracker Tail. He was using the Lucky Frog that entire last chapter because those boost crystals are affected by the Lucky Frog. And then you just hold right and get the double jumps and go straight to the end. Yeah, then this strat is pretty notorious for being very difficult on controller, but on KBM it's not too bad. You do have to hit both that boost crystal and the double jump crystal at the same time, which is a very difficult shot to hit on controller.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that makes controller difficult is that, well, one thing that makes it easy but also difficult is the fact that controllers have auto aim applied, because obviously you can't accurately aim yourself with an analog stick. So essentially, if you get close enough, it just says, hey, I'll lock onto that for you. But the trade-off of that is that it automatically locks to the center of the crystal. So if you need to get a pretty specific angle in order to make something work, then it's not going to help you out a lot. And usually you need that if you want to hit two crystals at once.
Yeah, for the most part, if you are good enough to use KBM, it is the preferred controller method for a majority of the levels, and it's just more precise.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just flying through these levels right now. So this is the last level of Neon Alley right here. We got our death drones right here. We're going to be using this drone to hurt his other drone friend and fly under the level. These EMP grids we really didn't mention, and Rose getting owned by them right there. The EMP grids you can't use soul flame.
Yeah, so if you're in it, then you just don't really have a choice. So he has to jump over that to get out of the EMP grid in order to grab it. It's very, very accurate, and you did a pretty good job. Pretty good, I mean, amazingly good. Let's go.
Yeah, 2230 right here is pretty quick.
Yeah, Black Rose is moving a little bit. Now, it'd be really unfortunate if we had to fight a big bird right now.
That'd be tragic. Yeah, so we got the crow fight coming up. This crow gets cheesed really hard.
Yeah, because we happen to unlock Spirit Arrow, which is something you get from World 5, where the arrow crystals will lock onto targets.
Yeah, so we have to hit the crow 3 times. Each of them has like a different puzzle associated with how you're supposed to get to the arrow crystal that's high up in the level. But doing that is slow, so we just gain a little bit of height and hit the arrow crystal and it locks onto the crow.
Yeah, and that kind of makes it just not too much to worry about.
So yeah, that's crow. That's the game's one boss fight. Done pretty quickly.
Yep. The bird has been defeated. And now we go on to World 10, which doesn't introduce a new doesn't introduce any new crystals, but it does introduce a very interesting mechanic. The mechanic is you're going to see a bunch of floors with crystals next to them, and if you shoot that, then all the crystals turn into that type of crystal. So you can see it just turned into a boost crystal. Yeah.
Yeah, this leads to some pretty interesting routing. So like right here, you can just kind of jump onto the level and then use the pull crystals to finish it out. But kind of figuring out which crystal is the most optimal in any situation was pretty difficult.
This level's really fun on 100%.
Yeah, so Rose is hitting an off-screen swap crystal to just basically finish the level. It's pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah, you can just skip through all of that if you just line that up perfectly and it works out.
Yeah, this level's really, really difficult. So Rose has to hit the swap crystal, turn it on, and then hit both of the double jump crystals in a diagonal that is off screen. Because of the way the camera works in this game, you're not fully panned out when you start the level. So doing that one first try is like super, super hard.
Yeah, that's out.
Another really precise shot here. You gotta turn on the pull crystals and then use the double jump crystal in combination with the triple pull crystal to get you all the way to the end of the level, skipping most of it.
Alright. I was about to say, does he do the god drop on this?
I don't know. I don't think so. You can just double jump.
Yeah, true.
Oh, he went for it. So yeah, you can make it through this little gap here without actually jumping, saving probably not even a second. But it's mostly for swag, and I'm glad he went for it at least once.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so that was the Underlands. So majority of the game is now behind us, but we have the longest chapter coming up. We have the Storm. Do you want to explain what's happening in the Storm?
So essentially in the Storm, your kindred spirit is coming at you face to face and sort of saying, hey, we've been brother and sister throughout all the past lives. How rude of you to not stand up for me. And then he's just kind of saying, actually, you've kind of been depressed, and that's sort of been messing with your memories on it, and like you only see the bad in what's been going on in life. Yeah. So right now what he's doing is saying, you know what, I'm just going to steal all your memories so you just kind of cease to exist, which is a little extreme, but what can you do? You're a villain.
Yeah, Storm is just an interesting collection of levels. So we have 3 traditional levels that are combining a lot of the mechanics that we saw earlier. So like you would expect a game's final zone to do, we have some pretty complicated puzzle sections, but we're speedrunners. We like to go fast. So Rose uses that boost crystal at the start of the level to break a section that you're not supposed to break, and then does a pretty precise arrow shot to break another section that you're supposed to go to the other side and break, and that skips the majority of the level.
Yeah, it's a lot.
This is the controller level, so we get to see Black Rose's controller skills here. So breaking that open, using that Void Rift to get on top of the level, you're able to use this Fierce Flame and hopefully get enough height to get on top of the second section and avoid this long auto-scrollery section. This is the only level that Rose does on controller because you have to be moving off screen with the Fierce Flame, and on mouse and keyboard you control the Fierce Flame with your mouse, and you can't move your mouse off screen or else you'll exit the window.
Yep. That explains that.
So yeah, Rose is finishing up right there. That level has a pretty cool skip where you use the moving dragon and swap, also maintaining your double jump, and then just jump right back on top of the level.
Alright. So now he's a little bit upset because he's realizing that he forgot everything wrong, and he's saying, yo, I was kind of bad, so he's just kind of going in to surrender himself to the darkness, which is really sad. We don't want him to do that. So we're going to get these really cool powers that essentially mean that now we just have whatever crystal within us. So every time we hit source, it's going to use that crystal. And you got the skip. Nice.
Yeah, so we go through 4 different crystals here. First one was boost. Now we have void crystals. This void crystal section gets pretty nutty because you can just spam the source and be constantly spawning new void crystals. And if you're just sitting there mashing space, you go really, really fast. This does bring a lot of computers to their knees. I know when I was playing through this game, I was getting like 400 FPS, and then this brought it down to 60. So that was fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
On Switch, it's nigh unplayable.
Yeah.
Now we got infinite double jump here, so just kind of navigating this little section of razor barbs, moving on to the final section.
Alright, where we get our fireball. This part's really, really fun. So going through, and we're essentially reaching what is the end of the game, with time specifically being after a cutscene, but so now we're going to have our final confrontation, and this is essentially ends with you saying, hey buddy, bro, things are good, you're good, let's keep being good.
Yeah, we should all be good.
Yeah.
That's the last little section of movement. And Rose is essentially done with the game, but we do timing on the fade out to credits. So we got some story stuff we got to wrap up before the run's actually done. Some text boxes to close, some lore to learn.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was a pretty good run. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, Fucker's knocked out of the park. So we're gonna have some connecting. We're gonna have some really fun floor pictures of them being best friends forever. It's heartwarming, really nice.
Oh man, he's gonna beat my PB in a no reset setting. Oh, feels bad, man. Yeah, here you get to just kind of see the art of the game. The way the game presents the story, I think, is fairly unique. You do have some like memory pop-ups as you're moving throughout the levels, and that was the final one right there, where you take your other self and you combine as one and use the power of friendship to break out of this bad place that he was in.
Yeah. You head back. This is all mostly a cutscene, but looks like we're gonna be ending at like a 31:40-ish, give or take.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time here.
Yeah.
So Rose, I think this would be a good time if you could unmute your mic. You can
Okay.
finish it out. That was a great run. What do you think?
Yeah, fantastic.
I didn't like it, to be honest. Made a lot of mistakes, and I'm sorry for the crash earlier.
Don't worry about it. You did a great job.
Yeah, I think that
Just
was
some more
fantastic.
mashing. And timer ends when the screen completely fades to black. And time.
Sub 32.
Not
Yeah.
bad.
Not bad at all.
That was
Yeah,
really good.
well played.
Yeah, fantastic job.
Well, we have these credits here playing Black Rose. Do you have any shout outs or any final words to say?
I'd say shoutouts to the Discord, to all the runners, to the devs. I mean, it's a really nice game. If you're interested in puzzle platformers, feel free to check it out. It's on Steam and Nintendo Switch. And I think next up is the 100% run from Chongo. So stay tuned for that. And that was it for me. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of the stream.
Yeah, thank you very much, Black Rose, for that awesome any percent run. As Black Rose mentioned, we do have that 100% run coming up next. We are going to have a quick break so we can switch over to Chongo's feed. And we're also going to play some ads during that break. I want to give a big shout outs to everyone that is watching today, all of our wonderful viewers and also subscribers. It helps out the channel a lot. So we're going to have a couple minute break, and then we will be right back with 100% by Chongo. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Testing Grounds. I want to thank you all for standing by through that ad break. We're welcomed back by the two commentators from the previous run. We have Chongo and Sunny Muffin here, going to be showing off 100%. So we just saw a great any percent run from Black Rose, and now we're going to be seeing 100%. So right before we get started here, just a couple of announcements. We have an all-woman speedrunning event, Frame Fatales, returning with another event, Fleet Fatales, starting on November 15th. So you can go to gamesdonequick.com/framefatales for more info. And we also have AGDQ 2021 online game submissions and volunteer applications open now until October 4th. So if you're interested in running or being a volunteer for the event, you can go to gamesdonequick.com to get those submissions in. And with that, I am Joined again by Chongo. Thank you, both of you, for the wonderful commentary of the last race.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for bringing everything together.
Yeah, and we're going to be seeing 100% here. Could you maybe describe to us what the requirements are for 100%?
All right, hello everybody. I'm Chongo, also known as Ryan. Some of you might know me from things. So 100% right now, as it's defined on speedrun.com, is, as you guys might have noticed if you're watching the Any%, in the top right corner, you may have noticed 3 little boxes with like a flower on it, a moon, a crystal. The way it works is, right now 100% means that on every level, we have to collect every crystal, we have to break every crystal, we have to collect every flower petal that appears on the level, and we have to get to the ending within a certain amount of time. So if you watch that Any% run and you thought, wow, this guy's like amazing, but I really wish he picked up that one flower petal, do I have great news for you. Now, one thing that had happened about a week and a half ago, there was some discussion throughout the Evergate speedrun community about what it means to 100% a game. Right now, the only requirement is to collect all the essence, that way you can get all the artifacts. However, there had been sort of talk about, well, hey, there are a bunch of crystals on the Crow fight or in the Storm, and also there's a bunch of bonus levels that are on the side. Shouldn't that be a part of 100%? So, for the first time, I'm going to be publicly doing a run where I not only do all the crystals, all the petals and levels, but I'm also going to be collecting all the crystals in the Storm, which originally we had skipped in what was previously known as 100%, and also doing some bonus levels. Right now, it isn't going to be actually counting towards 100%, unless I just do so well that I somehow beat my other time where I do less things. But the developers had talked about, at the end, putting up a little scorecard saying, hey, here's how many crystals you ended up breaking. So once we have that sort of verification, we'll probably change it up. So consider this a sneak peek of what 100% is to be. So that's what's going to happen. I'm joined on commentary once again by the awesome Sunny Muffin.
Hello.
All right. And with that, we're going to start this game in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that, yeah, so there are a few strats that I've been picking up recently that required me to move, because usually I was just a controller-only kind of guy, but I've recently been turned over to the dark side of mouse and keyboard. And because of that, a lot of this is me sort of picking up on some mouse and keyboard stuff, so if you notice, wow, you're kind of shaky on some of these, well, that's why. But you know what? We're not here to judge me. We're here to judge me and have a fun time doing it.
Yeah, as someone that went from controller to mouse keyboard, some of the mouse keyboard strats are pretty hard to pick up when it's not your main input method.
Absolutely. It does make some levels a lot easier, though, and I'll get to them when I get to them. So this isn't too much different from Any%. There aren't any additional crystals or hidden flower petals that we're missing. However, there is one very small thing. I have no idea if it actually saves time, which is something you're going to hear me saying a lot this run. Because I don't test any of this stuff, but it's some really just fun stuff that at least feels like it saves time. And in the end, isn't that what speedrunning's all about? If you're not going fast, you can at least feel like you're going fast.
Oh, I noticed you're using the red Soul Flame color. Is red for speed?
Yeah, turns out that I did not know that in the PC version you can just choose your Soul Flame color, which changed my life. How long have you PC people been keeping this from me?
Yeah, it's funny to see everybody with their preferred color for the Soul Flame. I know I like the green one. I think that's the best color.
Yeah, I've just been on a red pick personally recently, and you know what? I think it really gives like a bit of an edge to it, where it's just like, oh yeah, I may be a cute little soul, but I'm going hard.
All right, 4 crystals down. Let's go.
All right, how many to go? I didn't count yet.
So yeah, this run is going to follow the Any% route all the way through the tutorial, and then it's just going to get super drastically different.
Yeah, you'll see that right from the beginning. Now, I do sort of inherit some of the Any% routes in that if I beat a level and I haven't beaten it in time because of whatever reason, then I just Any% it, which works. Because fortunately, the way that exits work is if you have any of the 3 goals and you pass by the exit, it locks it in and says, hey, you did it, congratulations.
Yeah, I can think of one level in particular that is pretty hard to come in under the timer.
Yeah, I can think of multiple. I'm assuming. Oh wait, 4-1. I'm guessing.
Yeah, 4-1.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that I do. I try it once and see if I can get it in time, and if not, then I just go.
Just do it in 2 sections. Yeah, that makes sense.
Absolutely. Right. So if you remember this level, he kind of just blasted past most of these and skipped all of the pedals, but I have to be nice and meticulous and pick up everything.
Yeah, so for you viewers at home, you can see on the right-hand side, we're going to have a count of the pedals. So that top box is going to be counting the 3 pedals that are going to be in each level. You're going to have the crystal count, so that's going to vary from level to level. This one had 7, and then you're going to have the speedrun timer that's going to be counting down. So you see right there, he finished with 2 seconds left on that timer.
I always mess up on that. This level's always been a little rough for me on 100%.
Oh yeah, hitting that pedal and getting that platform is very, very difficult.
Nice. So the thing is, if you're cutting it close, you have to like wait a second to make sure that you got the lunar thing.
Yeah, and we're going to see a little bit more of the slowdown mechanic. We saw it a little bit there, but this game has the opportunity to slow down and kind of line up your shots. There's 2 forms of this. There is the precision mode, which is the slowdown, and then you can actually pause time and line up the shots. As a speedrunner, you use them kind of interchangeably. I know I prefer the one that just slows it down, because then you still have a little bit of movement in case your initial position is off by just a little bit.
Yeah, and it just helps out to make sure, because right now I'm still not fully confident in all these shots, so better safe than sorry.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's like, I'll lose the half a second it takes to make sure the shot is correct rather than redoing the 10 seconds of level.
Yeah. And if it turns out that, like, oh man, you didn't even mean to, then hey, at least it looks cool.
Yeah, and you see, Chongo also unlocked the Lucky Frog way earlier than Black Rose did. That's because it is tied to the amount of essence that you have in each world. So we're going to be seeing a lot more varied artifact usage. The Lucky Frog is just the first one that you get, so it really doesn't make sense to switch off of it, because it does make you go faster when you're hitting these boost crystals. Yeah, so a lot of these, you're going to be looking at pretty much what some of the developer intended solutions to these puzzles are, just very, very quickly. So having to stop the timer there, that's a cool strat. I like that.
Yeah, I just do it for safety. It's possible to do it if you use the other boost crystal right in that little crevasse. You can get through it pretty quickly, but I just don't like risking it, especially on marathons. Gotta be nice and safe for the marathon. Alright, so here we go to round 2. I'm trying to think of when I first use the fun strat.
That was a good secret garden, though. Everything was first try there.
Yeah, well, I had to do a quick reset on 1-2, but 1-2 is difficult. It's allowed to get a reset. Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of developer-intended stuff. Nothing too spicy, so. But at the same time, it's good stuff.
Yeah, Dark Woods, I don't imagine has too many things that you can kind of break, but you do have to do basically the entire level to complete all the crystals.
This jump. For some reason that jump always gives me some kind of sass.
Yeah, a lot of the angles, especially on mouse keyboard, are fairly difficult. One of the advantages the controller does have is that aim assist will, basically, if there is a path to the source, you will hit that path. So
Absolutely.
A lot of strategies on controller are a little bit safer, but on PC you do have the precision element.
Yeah, that's what you gotta focus on. Nice and precise. So let's see if I can do it. Nice.
Oh man, that turn back, that was good.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're in the Dark Woods here. For those of you that weren't here for our any percent run, we have 2 different types of crystals we're working with right now. We have the boost crystal, which is that yellowy one. That one basically takes your momentum and it shoots you off in that direction. So if you are above the crystal, it's going to shoot you up. If you're to the side of the crystal, it's going to shoot you horizontal. We use this to kind of generate a lot of horizontal momentum and use that for speed strats. Then we have the earth crystal. The earth crystal, when you connect it to the source, will create a platform wherever he is. There is a little bit of a glitch that we use to get a double jump off of these earth crystals, and it makes you go fast.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Oh, here we have the crows. So these crows, they spawn whenever Django is hitting a crystal, and they also break these little vine platforms as well as the source blocks. So you do have to kind of be careful where you're positioning them. There's also some crystals in these upper flowers of this section, so you do have to send a crow up there to break those, because that's the only way to break these specific ones. You can use a boost crystal stick as well.
Yeah. But if it's one crow taking it all out, then it's just 3 petals, 1 bird. That's not how the saying goes, I don't think, but I'm gonna mess it up back.
That you're going for the safe strat there. In general, if you're moving, like, these crows aren't gonna really mess you up that bad. You do have to look out for if you're jumping, because then that crow is going to be where you were 2 seconds ago at the start of your jump and can kill you fairly easily.
Yeah. Alright, so I'm talking to a shadow. Something that I have experience with.
So, yeah, that's 100% for 2 chapters. That was nice. That was good.
Yeah. Yo, what's up? Oh, did I or can I? Okay. Sorry about that. There we go. I moved away from my mic, just out of the sheer chaos of it all. And here we go into the fire spot.
So yeah, this is Lunar Festival. Depending on what any percent strat you subscribe to, this will be the any percent strat, which is getting all of the essence here, because you're going to unlock the Dragon Head, which is the fastest form of movement in this game. It's a really good artifact, but it does have some downsides. We'll see when we get there.
Yeah. I will say next level I'm going to be doing the first artifact swap. So that'll be fun to check out.
Yeah, so there is artifact swap. You're doing the mid-level artifact swap, right?
Yeah, the mid-level one, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to do it on a 3-2.
So mid-level artifact swaps are something that was found in this game. Basically, you're not supposed to switch artifacts in the middle of a level. Normally, if you do it, it makes you reset the level, so you only are able to use the one artifact. But if you do it frame perfect and you swap your artifact on the same frame that you open the menu, it will let you switch your artifact in the middle of the run, which gets to be a little bit crazy. For the most part, I know in the any percent run, it doesn't really make sense to use it, because you're still going pretty quickly, and taking the time to swap artifacts doesn't really make that big of a deal. But in 100%, you have access to a lot more varied artifacts and are able to use some of the more broken ones that are unlocked a little bit later.
Forgot to pick up the fire one. This level's been messing with me today.
This level's rough. Hitting the earth crystal right there to make that little very tight diagonal is fairly hard, and then trying to combo the fire into the boost crystal right there is also a really, really difficult shot. I know in any percent, even just hitting that boost crystal is really, really hard from that positioning.
There we go. Now just need a little bit of slow-mo.
Yeah, no shame in taking it slow.
But it's called games done quick. I must go fast.
And you are going fast.
And yeah. Alright. I'm moving.
This level. This is probably, in my opinion, one of the more irritating levels for 100%. It's just long and auto-scrollery. You have to wait on these dragons. It's really unfortunate how long it is.
I forgot the source doesn't go that far. No.
Yeah, so if you're running the Dragon Head route of any percent, this is actually most of the time loss, because this level is just so much slower than doing it the fast way.
One thing I need to get better at is placing out my platforms in just the right way. That way I can go across it a bit better.
Yeah, that one's a little bit weird. You do have to use the flame crystal to burn the source on these like little moving platforms in order to unlock that final petal. It's a little bit difficult because you do have to pre-plan, like John was saying.
This one's pretty fun on 100%, just because there's fireworks going off everywhere. It's like a 4th of July.
Yeah, this level is one of the more puzzly sections that are early in the game. When you burn the source that is on these little rockets, that rocket will shoot off. And depending on your timing, you may go too fast, you might go too slow, because some of them have to go through areas that need to be broken. All right, final level of Lunar Festival here. This level is pretty similar actually to the any percent run. You just have to make sure that you get all the puddles and break all the crystals.
Yep. And we got Dragon Head, which we'll be using not this level, but the next one.
Yeah,
Dragon Head, you just zoom.
Yeah, Dragon Head gives you 65% increased speed, I believe, and then but it does have the downside of burning the source. So you saw how those fire crystals were burning source that you shot into. Now your default shots are going to do that. So some of them become a little bit more precise.
Yeah, which is what makes 100% on mouse and keyboard especially a lot more interesting, because I can't just fire off a bunch of shots and go like, all right, here we go, this is going to be it. Because if I shoot wrong and miss, then my source is burned. Ah, I didn't even get all the... I'm just going to try that again this time. Actually, I'll grab the pedals.
Yeah, so this level in particular has a really, really tight timer. So the devs might be able to answer for that one. I have no idea why they decided to make it super tight, but it is. So you have to beat it in under 6 seconds, which is, I think this is probably the tightest speedrun timer, even casually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fortunately, you can just zoop, 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 but...
Yeah, there is a strategy to get that one with the speedrun timer and all crystals and petals, but it's really, really difficult.
Yeah, I can do it on I think I can do it on controller, but I think maybe I need a bit more time on mouse keyboard before I can really nail it.
That's still impressive, even being able to get it.
Alright, now a really fun glitch I saw is that if one of these boxes goes through a warp spot, it doesn't get burned up by Dragon Head.
Oh, that's super cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I haven't found any practical application for it except for that part right there, but still fun. I can work with this. I said I can work with this. Alright.
Nice. Clutch. Yeah, so we're back in the blizzard.
Didn't quite make it in time.
We're going to be seeing some more of these levels. In the any percent run, you saw that we just kind of teleported to the end and we're done. In this run, we have some more of the mechanics that you're going to see. In particular, these like little like wind patterns, I guess is what you can call them. As you swap a crystal into the wind pattern, it's going to be moving along with that. But you have to use these to position these crystals to finish the levels.
Give yourself a little bit of extra movement speed.
That was another smooth mid-level artifact swap.
Yeah. This level is fun if you like pain.
I know. This level casually, I had to be really careful about these ice platforms because they collapse when you stand on them. And you need to make sure that you leave yourself a way back to the other side. That was really clean. That was good.
Yeah, thank you.
How did artifact swapping get found, by the way?
This is one of my favorites.
I think Rose discovered it. I'm not sure how.
It's either that or it was Axe. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Axe, but I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I think just switching artifacts really quickly and
yeah. I'm guessing they figured it out just by accidentally doing it. So I'm actually going to use Ice Shield on this level because it's the boring strat, but it gets the job done.
Yeah.
Oh,
so this
usually I don't fall down here. Okay.
This level has the Blizzard's main gimmick where we have snowfall coming every so often. So you're going to alternate snowfall with no snowfall, and the snowfall will kill you unless you have the Ice Shield on. So by using the Ice Shield, Chongo is able to safely break all those crystals pretty easily. Doing that one without Ice Shield is pretty yikes.
Yeah, I mean, I've been working on like trying to get a route where you, because there are a bunch of earth crystals where you can put down platforms, which, from what I can tell, at least in casual strat, you're supposed to use that as a sort of umbrella. And I feel like it's possible to make it happen. I just haven't fully labbed it out yet.
We did get word from Black Rose in chat saying, quote, "I figured it out by intentionally trying to break the game."
And that's why
True
Black Rose is
speedrunner
a
mentality
hero.
right there.
And that's why Black Rose is a hero.
Yeah, one of the cool things about 100% is a lot of these levels are pretty open-ended in the routing that you can do for them. So it'd be interesting to see if we get some more runners in, get some more different perspectives, and see what strats develop.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone's interested, again, this game just recently came out. So if you're interested in running it, you can, maybe try to find some new sources of time save.
Absolutely. Wouldn't mind some competition. Well, as you can see, in too much competition.
I think Chongo is the only person that has actually done a full 100% run.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm the only one who's done the original, what we originally considered 100%, and this is literally the only full 100%, so...
Yeah, this run is really not that forgiving. It's pretty brutal to try to hit all these speedrun timers, pick up all these petals, break every crystal, all at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, and the slowdown doesn't slow down the timer. So
the timer is at the same speed. Yeah, you gotta be careful with that. And one thing is you have to be very precise. Yeah, that's right. You have to be really precise when you use Dragon Head, because again, if you miss, then the source is gone. So you only got one shot for each. So it's a little more stressful. I need way more time, but getting a little jumpy and impatient.
This arrow shot is really, really finicky. Getting the angle on these while you're moving is pretty difficult, and doing it without slowdown just adds another layer to that.
Yeah, without a doubt, it's absolutely nutty.
So yeah, we're going to be bringing back our caribou friends in Summer Hunt. So on all of these levels, you're going to be having to hit caribou to unlock the final area, so you could actually exit the level. And this one, you have the snowstorm thrown in as well, so we got a lot of overlapping mechanics that you're having to deal with.
Gonna fall down. Yeah, I will say it's really fun to sort of plan out your route. Some of them are very just like it's very clear. They're like, hey, I'm the dev. I sort of put this little route here as a little, just a treat from me to you. But sometimes they're placed in such a way where you can just sort of go, okay, that's a nice little treat there, but what if I did something like this? And then you just destroy the game. Like, I've also been working on all petals, and there's a level later that has just an absolutely nuts strat that I've been trying to get right, and I'm trying to convert it to 100%. Fortunately, we're not going to see it today, but it's fun stuff. It's really fun getting to just sort of rat out some of this stuff.
Yeah, and some of the levels definitely have that developer intended to happen. Some of them just have a whole bunch of crystals that they just threw on the screen somehow.
Yeah, 10-3.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, so you're switching back to the firecracker tail here. You're going to need these sources after using them more than once. There's not a lot of source available on this level, and there's a lot of crystals to break.
So if you burn it all up, then it's just not going to be a good time. Right, and that's Summer Hunt. I got to talk to my friend. Hello, large speared dad.
Pretty clean so far. Any levels in particular that were pretty rough there?
I mean, 3-3, but I was kind of expecting it to be rough, so not too surprised by anything. I'm trying to think if there are any levels in particular that I'm, like, anxious about. No, I can't think of any. I'm sure that it'll just happen when I least expect it. It'll surprise me. Let's live without some surprises. Alright. Here we go, the 6-1.
So we're back to the Northern Lights. How are those steamed hams coming along?
Positively scrumptious. Forgot the line because I'm too busy playing Evergate for the PC. This particular one's a really fun route to do, especially since I have my good friend the Dragon Head. I also do that little reset just to reset the moon timer, because you never want to take chances. Grab you.
Yeah, so in this case, burning the source with the Dragon Head there is actually advantageous. You're able to break that crystal without having to use one of the fire sources, which you need to use on the northern section of that level. This is another pretty open-ended level. We have a lot of these void crystals right here, more than you actually need to finish the level. The devs just kind of threw a bunch of them there, so pretty liberally used.
They're having a good time. That was actually a really good 6-3, considering how I usually do on it.
Yeah, no ice shield,
usually-
so you have to dodge all those ice fall.
Yeah, I usually end up biting it to one of those random ones. Alright, this one I've been working on trying to do with Dragon Head.
This one,
really...
the petals on the lower section are really, really difficult to get. You have to make sure that you have pretty precise usage of these crystals in order to make sure that you can still get back out of this section.
Yep, that was a fun momentum moment. Okay, and still got time. Fantastic. All right.
Easy. That's a pretty tight timer level as well.
All right. Now this level's one of my favorites because I get to use the Flyspring Lotus for my particular strat. And if you ask anyone who runs 100%, the Flyspring Lotus is the best weapon or artifact. This is mostly because I'm the only person who runs 100%.
Yeah,
essentially, after I use the...
Fantastic.
Yeah, essentially after you use your boost... Oh, I might not make it in time. Ah! Didn't make it at all. All right. Upsetting.
Rough.
Take 2.
So yeah, the Flyspring Lotus, it gives you an extra jump after you hit a boost crystal, and there's a lot of boost crystals on this map. So your Chongo is able to abuse it to get to this top petal right here, which otherwise it really it's pretty unintuitive to get to, and it's fairly difficult to do it while going fast.
Yeah, which is why I like to switch to it. Also because I made a promise to the Flyspring Lotus after I first unlocked it that I would one day use it for something great, and this is its legacy.
This level is its legacy. Done.
Thank you, Flyspring Lotus. Oh, also one of the bonus levels, I use Flyspring Lotus. Mostly out of spite.
So I wasted all this time unlocking you. I have to use you.
Yeah, I remember when I first came in, I had said, you know, I feel like the Flyspring Lotus is a really good strat, and everyone's saying, nah, you gotta go Firecracker Tail and Good Frog. And to this day, that's mostly true, but I use my friend whenever I get the chance.
Yeah, Dragon
Everyone
Head's
matters.
used too.
Yeah, exactly. Use Dragon Head too. So I forgot to do the mid switch on that one.
That strat was cool. I like that. All right, we get to see a lot more of this level. This is probably one of the more frustrating levels casually. You have to guide this block throughout these wind currents and be doing all of the pickups along the way. Anybody that likes escort quests, this is an escort quest.
Yeah, I have a route on any petals that just it warps the block down to the bottom, and you use it just to sort of just to get to the ending from there. Oh no, I forgot to grab the black hole crystal. Now I have to do it all again. Yay!
Hey, we get to see more of the level. That's great.
Lordy, come on.
Yeah, so we got a nice slow-moving NPC right here in our source box friend.
I don't know why I'm missing that so much. I think the box is upset with me for insulting it, so it's cursing me.
Hey, boxes have feelings too. You gotta make sure you watch
Absolutely.
out.
Take care of your... compliment your local box today.
Just like the companion cube in Portal, we got our companion source box right here.
And then it becomes a conspiracy when you realize that Portal is made in the source.
Nice.
All right.
That's Northern Lights.
Yeah.
Everyone loved the art in that entire world. I think the aesthetics of that world are the best.
Yeah, the aesthetics of this game are fantastic, and the music is incredible too. If you've been listening to it, M.R. Miller, I've been in talks with him, and it's just warms my heart every time I hear it.
Oh yeah, I like the New York section, upcoming Schoolyard. This is probably my favorite.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know, it's really nice. It's got a very yeah, the bells, I love it.
So do you do any controller strats here, or are you full mouse keyboard?
I can't find the USB cable for the PS4 controller, so I'm all mouse and keyboard, baby.
Good reason as any.
Yeah, I think there are a couple levels I'd probably use controller on, like in 1.7 where I have to like shoot a boost crystal up top, then directly after one on the bottom. It's really helpful for that, and also 10.7, the auto lock helps on that, and doesn't save too much time, but it makes it a lot more swaggy because you don't have to wait for the fireball. I'm getting ahead of myself, but you'll see what I'm talking about in a bit. Oh, I did actually hit that. Thank you.
I just find these Fierce Flame sections on keyboard mouse to be painful.
Oh yeah, that's why I usually do slowdowns before I move it, because that way I can just hold down the right keyboard. I'm not veering at the last second while I'm aiming it.
Yeah, so here we get to see more of this level. So this one you actually have to break these glass sections. One of the interesting facts that I found out mid speedrun was that the broken glass has basically spikes on either side of it after you break it. So you got to make sure that you go through the center of it, or you can die to those spikes.
Yeah.
This level has like a bunch of different routes that you can choose to do as well. There's a lot of creative routing that has potential here. You have to be able to break all of these crystals.
I just noticed something. So one thing I noticed as a sort of PC difference between the PC and the Switch version, which I've been playing a lot of, is in the also, hey, goal on the first try, let's go. In the PC version, you have to, if you pass by a goal while you're in fire mode and you enter through it, then you just sort of stop in your tracks. But in the Switch version, you maintain your momentum. So whenever I would play it on Switch, I would have Key be flying by, and then he would just keep going. And just sort of fall off as a little mini cutscene played. It was very, very funny, and I was hoping we'd be able to get it on here, but alas.
Unfortunate.
Unfortunate indeed.
Yeah, so in general, the Switch and the PC versions play pretty much the exact same. The Switch version does have some FPS issues and some load time issues, but they're nothing really too major. So if you own a Nintendo Switch, you could also own this game.
That's true. It's on Steam, it's on Switch. Switch is how I got into it, and the playstyle on that is just as good. So definitely check it out if you get the chance to. I highly recommend it.
So if you got into this game from Switch, did you run it on Switch at all, or
yeah, all the artifact runs that I have so far that have been uploaded are all done on Switch. So right now my Switch record for the all artifacts, the 100% is 52 minutes. But since I'm doing like a whole bunch of other levels and a bunch of other stuff, I put the estimate up to about 110. Judging by how I'm going right now, I'm guessing it's gonna be about a 101. I don't know, give or take. Unless I completely bite it on one of the special levels, which is possible.
Unfortunately, on the Switch version, you can't switch your Soul Flame color, which is really the most important.
Yeah, as soon as I figured out that was a thing, I was like, why am I still playing the Switch version when I could have a red Soul Flame?
Alright, moving into Falling Sky. So we get to see more of these levels, which is cool. A lot of the pull crystal shenanigans. Again, if you're just joining us with any of the crystals, as you hit multiple of them in one Soul Flame shot, you basically duplicate their effect. So by hitting double pull crystal right there, it's going to pull you much further and much faster than just hitting a single one. Oh, that's kind of spicy. That's good.
Yeah, I love that immediate cancel. It's always fun to do because just like. Alright, let's see if I can.
So here, Chongo has to have pretty careful usage of the source because both the pull crystal and the boost crystals will break the boxes and not enable them to be used later. So he kind of has to set himself up a path to get back to safety and finish the level.
Alright, I should warn you, I'm probably going to bite it a few times on this one.
Oh yeah, this one is not fun on Hundo.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so
sometimes the piece of shrapnel will just get you.
Yeah, so this level you have just a bunch of stuff falling the entire time. It is in the same pattern if you're on the same reset cycle. So the cycle is different if you're on the first reset, and then 2, 3, 4, 5 are all the same. So usually you have to learn just the one pattern, but if you're running 100%, you have to learn 2.
Yeah, I will say I'm almost certainly gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna reset just to see if I can get a quick any percent run.
Oh, you gotta go. You're team middle. Ah.
Yeah, I remember just one day I was trying to get through it and I didn't, so I was like, oh, I'll just pick one, and I haven't gone from that one since.
Team bottom. Let's go.
Oh yeah, I know that Black Rose is on team bottom too.
He went over.
Oh, he went over?
Yeah.
I didn't. Oh yeah.
I did. Over is faster if you're as good as Black Rose.
Yeah, but It's not, but sometimes it's just about, you know, team solidarity. I will say that's one of my favorite levels, just because you get to feel that rush of speed.
Yeah, that's cool that the swap crystal, you don't have collision while you're actually in mid-swap, so you get to kind of swap through that air raid.
Oh boy. I thought I was gonna die. I'm gonna switch over to Firecracker Tail because sometimes this burns very important source, and I don't want it to do that, so.
Your artifact swaps are on point.
Thank you. Practicing them all day.
Final level of Falling Sky here. This one is much different than the end percent run. You actually have to use crystals, which is cool. But you have to break through these center platforms using the Fierce Flame, and then the Purple Crystal on the top one.
Right. Alright. Honestly, considering how few tries it took me on the air raid level, I'm shocked. Let's go. Doing pretty good.
Yeah, this run has been pretty smooth though so far.
Heck yeah, happy to show off the hundo. Alright, coming up next we have the future, where everything is chrome.
Yeah, that's how the future is, didn't you know?
Mm-hmm.
This one has some more interesting strategies as well. But the double jump kind of enables some pretty crazy things to happen.
Yeah. On this first level, I theoretically could do a hold right, but since I have Dragon Head, it becomes a lot. I have to make sure I hit everything. I can't just be like, okay, well, got most of them. That's enough, right? So plus, I gotta get all these petals.
But burning the source here is a disadvantage, because if you miss any of those double shots, you're out of source.
Alright, time's a little tight, so I'm gonna do a quick reset after my artifact swap. This always gives me a little bit of that sass.
Yeah, so again, this is showing the EMP grid mechanic. So if you see those little like hexagonal sections that are kind of glowy, kind of blue, you can't actually use the soul flame while you're within those. So anytime that you have to break a crystal, you have to make sure that you're outside of the EMP zone, and they're placed in pretty irritating positions where they are there to block your progress. So you have to make sure that you have your route planned out ahead of time.
This one was a very interesting one to route.
Going under. I like it.
Wow. That is new. I like it better when I hit that. That's just me though.
So again, just flying through these EMP sections. You gotta make sure that you stay above or below them so you're able to break the crystals.
Yeah. You also have to make sure you break the crystal so you don't go careening to your death.
But you're already dead. You're in the afterlife.
Ah, you know what? That's true. The reason it takes so long to respawn is because well, more than a quarter second is because it's just the guy in charge of the afterlife shaking his head going, "You just got here."
So we have the drone things right here. As you pass into their little region of white underneath them, like they're like spotters, they're gonna take a second and then target you. When they target you and shoot, it'll burn any source that's underneath you. So you have to make sure that when they're shooting, that you're not going to need that source. So like right here, it's burning all that source now. Trongo has to make do with the source that is on the right-hand side of the map.
I forgot to break the garbage.
You can defeat these drones by hitting them with boost crystal or having them hit each other. There is an achievement for having them hit each other, and it's pretty funny to use them against themselves.
Mm-hmm. Alright, a little bit sloppy on that level, but what can you do?
That timer is very lenient.
Yeah, it's a super lenient timer, and I am very thankful for that. Okay, or that could happen. I think it's
the level that I don't even know what the left-hand side of it looks like.
Well, here's a quick tutorial. There's 2 crystals, a petal, and a block. Also, you can break that with your dragon head. Fun fact.
Oh,
You
your
don't even
dragon
need to
burns
use-
freeze too?
Yeah, it burns the field generator, which is pretty nice. So like I can just, no problem. It's very useful, especially for this part. Haha. I like to use slow-mo for this part because it's really dramatic. All right, and there's that. Bit of a spicy time on one of the earlier levels, but overall I'd say pretty good.
Yeah, that went really
Now,
well.
yeah, I will say now we're going to World 10, which is significantly easier on the mouse, because if you saw the 80% run, you know that there's... Oh, I've tried a bird first. Hold on.
Those pesky birds always getting in there. And you
Okay.
do have to get all the crystals in this bird fight, correct?
Yeah, which means I have to do this whole thing correctly. If I do it incorrectly, it'll be a shame upon my house. I mean, or I could just do it, I don't know, like this. That's also an option.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But this one I'll do correctly. Enough.
Yeah, totally intended.
Mm-hmm.
So we do also have other categories that don't use any of the artifacts. So if you're interested in not cheesing this fight, you could run our no artifact category, where you run the entire game without using a single artifact.
Yeah, I was about to say the no artifact runs for any percent. I don't think I've seen too many of them, but they can get to some really crazy stuff. It's really, really fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, like I was saying before, that bird came in and interrupted me so rudely. This World 10, it has, if you remember any percent, there were those little platforms that if you shoot them, it changes to whatever it is. Now, what's pesky about it is on the controller, the aim assist automatically points to the edges of that. Fortunately, that isn't a problem with mouse and keyboard, but just wanted a quick vent on that. It's what makes 10.3 so horrifying. I
Well,
might
10
need
is the
to
best level.
1 second. Cheese time. Thank you.
Nice. That's a good backup. I like that.
Yeah, I had that backup for 10.4 too, which you'll see in a sec.
Yeah. So right there, Chongo hit the end gate, but didn't actually click into it, which stopped the timer, and then went and gathered the last petal after the timer was stopped. But it still counts for 100% because all of those boxes are ticked.
Yep, just gotta get all that essence.
That jump is a little bit pesky as well. You got the
Yeah, a little
laser field right there, and then you also have to make sure you're high enough to get to that last petal right there.
Yeah. So here's 10.3. On controller, it's a nightmare. On this, on MKV, it's a lot more manageable. Especially because I figured out how to do that jump.
Yeah, so this level in particular was probably, I know in my opinion, the hardest level, the 100%, because you have to break all of these crystals, and there is just a ton of them. The developers just decided to vomit crystals all over this level, and then you have all of our various different crystal swaps along the top.
Yep.
That was really
but yeah, no. As soon as I figured out I could just do it as quickly as I could, I was like, well, no more struggling on that, and I didn't struggle on it ever again. I might slow it down. I might miss the timer on this one. Which is pretty unfortunate. Then I have to do an any percent strat, and I can't do it possibly as well as Black Rose.
Yeah, the any percent strat in this level is rough.
Oh. No, we're good. And then I use this just to pick up this one. Skyward Thistle, my good friend. We got a Bionic Leg, which I'm probably going to use when I do a really cheesy run one day, but today's not that day yet. Keyword being yet.
Yeah, we've seen most of the useful artifacts already. They've been introduced. Yeah. We're just gonna keep using the ones that are fast.
Oh, can I please? Thank you. Yeah, Bionic Leg can do some really fun stuff if you want to do some have some fun with routing. Essentially, it's like what Dragonhead does, except instead of making you go faster, every time you burn the source, it gives you an extra jump. So if you just want to fly into the sky, then that's your opportunity.
Yeah, I get to do this level a little bit more casually as well. The developer intended route instead of just skipping the entire thing. Use these boost crystals to get your last petal and move over to the left.
Alright, so this last level is really fun because sometimes you just god drop. dang it. And it's on controller, this one's a blast because it just auto locks to every crystal like around the world, and you can just fire it off and get them all in one fall. But the mouse and keyboard's not quite that simple. However, there is an upside. If I do miss a crystal, then ouch. These expanding fireballs will actually get it for me, and it counts as a pass, so ow. There's only one of them that it doesn't expand far enough to actually get, and good lord, I am not landing these crystals right.
Yeah, so you could just hit that one crystal, get your petals, and call it good, and
yeah, I can.
At the end for a while.
Yeah. Also, this one, the one that I just picked up right there, that one takes a little bit of time in order to for the place to get.
Waiting.
All right, so as you can see, I got 11 out of 12, and there it is.
Nice.
Always fun. All right, and that's Underlands. So now I got an artifact called Stormheart, which is going to make the rest of the game a little bit fun. But before we go into the storm itself, let's check out some bonus levels for no apparent reason.
Yep, you have to do the bonus levels before finishing out Storm, because then you don't have to watch credits and wait for the credits to scroll and then do the bonus levels.
All right. Everyone, say hello to the best artifact once again. That's right, the Flyspring Lotus. Everybody loves the Flyspring Lotus. Yeah, mostly me.
So these are a bunch of additional levels that the devs put in here. They kind of follow the themes of the different worlds. So like this one is using the boost crystals, the flowers, all of the various stuff that you saw in the first world, but it's using it in a much more difficult fashion. So we have a lot less ground, as you can see, and just using these boost crystals to climb up this little treehouse area.
That works.
You
never had to do that as a backup.
Down there.
Yeah, you don't want to mess up that particular bonus level, because when you reset, the camera has to move all the way back down, and it's just disorienting. So here's what Stormheart's all about. Essentially, you don't need to hit source in order for the crystals to work. So that can lead to a lot of really fun times. Damn, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, I like to think of these levels kind of like Celeste's Seasides, where they're not a big jump in difficulty above what you were expected to do throughout the rest of the game, but they are a lot longer. And when you're doing 100%, that length adds way more room for error, as you're seeing here.
Yeah, as you can see here. Plus, this is the set of levels that I've had the least time to practice on, in case it is not abundantly obvious.
Yeah, this was only just added to 100%, what, a week ago now?
Yeah. And even then, it's kind of optional.
Yeah, we just have all these crows flying around. Every single time you hit one of these crystals, you trigger a crow, so you gotta make sure to dodge them.
Ooh, that was close.
Oh man, that was nice.
That got me a little sweaty.
Nice.
Let's see. Thank you. Got in there. So this is what I was talking about. I was trying to think like some way to do something really crazy and get all these. However, I have not managed to find it in a way that doesn't take me about 50 tries, so unfortunately we're gonna have to go through the slow, boring Dragon Express 2-2.
Yeah, we get the nice auto-scroller experience here. Even in our fun puzzle 2D platformer game, we get some auto-scrollers.
That was new. Okay. Yeah, I like a lot of the bonus levels. I just get impatient because I know the storm is right there. However, you do get something very, very nice for beating these levels, which we will see very soon. Hopefully very soon, so long as I don't take forever on these levels.
No spoilers, though. We gotta keep the mystery alive.
Yeah, I mean, if I keep on dying to this, then... if I'm dying on this slow level, then we'll never see it.
Yeah, I think this is the first time that I've seen the speedrun of these levels, so this is pretty cool.
Yeah. It's basically just, right now, say for like maybe 1, maybe 2 levels, it's basically just casual run, just hopefully with dying as little as possible. Also, there's this, which is fun.
It's
Using Stormheart on these levels is fun, because I can just do a bit of that.
Casual run, but first try and fast and artifact swaps.
Mm-hmm. Artifact swaps are very fun.
You know, I did a bunch of artifact swaps casually.
Oh, nice. Yeah. The trick is to bind the artifact menu button to enter, and then bind your mouse button to enter, and then that's how to do. All right, let's keep on moving. This one I shouldn't take 20 tries, maybe 19, but not 20.
This is probably the bonus level I most enjoyed casually. You have a lot of really, really tight jumps where you're kind of threading the needle through these ice spikes, and then you have some fun swap crystal stuff at the very end.
Wait, I can just do that. Okay. I just did it. That was way different from the normal route. I was just kind of playing it by ear. But you know what? Good thing I'm a pretty good listener. That's the word. I was about to say ear assist, but that is not a word. At least I don't think so.
All right, some more auto-scrollery fun. This one I definitely cheesed by just using the end arrow crystal to break it and then using my double jump, but it's going to be...
That's the thing, you gotta break all these crystals.
Wait, there's a right-hand side of this level? What?
I know, crazy, right? That's my favorite part about this game. My favorite part about this category is I get to teach people so many new things. Why didn't I have a double jump there? Okay.
So our friend, the helper source block, he likes to go nice and slow.
Yeah. I mean, like, we were so rude to him last time. I think we should be a little nice. Hey, buddy. Want me to get you a PB and a J? Says he ain't hungry.
So one of the things we really didn't explain is the shot here through the fire. So these arrow crystals, they will pick up that fire and you can use them to break ice, which is fun.
Nice. Right. Let's see. Next is the the maze. All right. This one is the one that requires actual routing. Where are you? There are you.
Oh yeah, this one was just dragon head cheese for casual.
Yeah. Speaking of dragon head, that's not dragon head.
So yeah, you just got to make sure that you have source available at the end to use these void rifts. Additionally, moving through those like white glowy beams gets rid of all your void rifts. So you saw there at the end when Chongo was moving to the right, those void rifts disappeared. So you got to make sure that you route those to the point where if you need those void rifts, you don't move through the white source and get rid of them.
So now I get to use Fierce Boot, which is one that I only get to use twice in this run. So I'm enjoying every second of it. Fierce Boot basically makes my fireball way more awesome. I'd love to keep using it, but I'd rather not die.
So yeah, a lot of tight, fierce flighting there. Just
not dying is the biggest time save.
Exactly. All right, we're hitting the urban ruins.
But
this one,
the swag.
True. This one was a little bit weird on my casual playthrough, but once you sort of have an idea of just how to hit everything, it sort of falls into place. Don't miss it.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of crystals that you can skip here, but not 100%. You gotta get all those crystals.
Exactly. All right. Okay.
Oh yeah, that is way different than what I did casually.
Yeah. All right, now here's the last one, which is another one that's kind of interesting to work, just in terms of routing. It's called Sourceless Skies. There is no source in this level, so you have to sort of base it on these ones. And I have to push the wrong button. Hope that doesn't cost me. Back to Dragon Head.
Yeah, and again, there's definitely some very developer-intended routes through these levels as well, but this one just has tons of crystals all over the place that you gotta hit.
Alright, and then just to be safe, just skip to Skyward, just switch over to Skyward Thistle. Skyward Thistle's like that one friend who won't let you down. So now I'm gonna start floating for no reason, and I'm gonna get a cool new ability.
Ooh.
That I haven't figured out how to utilize to the best of its ability in the storm, but I'm going to utilize a bit of it. Check it. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Very fun. Very enjoyable.
Yeah. So after beating the bonus levels, you unlock the dash ability, which is really cool and fast. Which I think would make a New Game Plus run of this really, really interesting, having all the artifacts and dash unlocked.
Yeah, that'd be very interesting. I would be down for a New Game Plus. I mean, the only difference is you can't fight the bird again.
Oh
And
no!
what's a run without the bird?
I know. It just would be missing a lot of the emotional climax of the story.
Exactly. Like, if I was given an option, was like, hey, you get a new game plus, but no bird, I'd say no deal in an instant.
Hear that, devs? We want a way to refight the bird.
Give me more bird. It's like, I'm like that one guy from Iron Man 2. You should go with this one first, yeah. I just like using whalebone rib whenever I get the chance. Okay, back to Dragon Head real quick.
It's more casual strats. This
Bit more
level
guys.
actually was like really tight with the way the crystals are positioned. So even casually, I don't think that I skipped any crystals on this one. So definitely doing it 100%. You gotta make sure that you do everything pretty precise, and you really only have like the one shot at getting things right.
Yeah. And with that one, I just I utilized a bit of a thing with a battery pack just to cheese my way out of it. This one's fun.
Yeah, so we get to do the auto scrolling. So there's
Everyone's favorite part.
Yeah, there's crystals hidden in these flowers. You got to make sure that you break all of the flowers and get those crystals out of there, and then we get to move on to our friend the auto scroller here.
Well, here's the thing. You say we do the auto scroller, but like, do we really?
I don't know. This is pretty auto scrollery to me.
Can't hear the sound of me using Stormheart there. Stormheart just makes things so much better because you don't need to worry about source. The source is within you all along. Using this to sort of knock that out. Fire that off because I don't need it. I am going to switch over to this for this part just because I'm going to need it for something else over here. Just fire that off. No biggie.
So yeah, this dragon here, when he moves vertically, he can melt that ice. So it's really handy to get through that zone without having to use the fire source.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a way to like do some dashes to get through that, but I don't know it, so I haven't gotten the time to suss it out yet.
All right, moving on to the final part of the game here. So if you were with us for the any percent run, you got to see Black Rose go through this very quickly. Basically, the gimmick in this is that you don't need a crystal to do the ability. So
And
key right
the
here,
Stormheart.
yeah. So you don't need any source, and you don't need any. You can just kind of propulse yourself all over the place.
Yep, it's very fun.
Yeah, it makes that skip easier.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, then in the second section we have the void, your void crystals. So you can basically anytime you hit source, you create a void crystal. And Chongo switched over to the whalebone rib, which gives you faster. It gives you better movement, right? More propulsion in the rift region.
I will give a quick shout out to this part. It might die in the first time, but I love this part of it because dang it, hold on.
Oh, you dashed over to get the pickup?
Yeah, and then I just speed through that whole upper climb.
Oh, that's fun.
Very, very funny. All right, then I get to use my boy, the Fierce Boot. Clean out the game.
Oh man,
Nice and fast through it.
Doing this with artifact swaps is pretty legit.
I'm telling you, artifact swaps changes the game. All right, quick last second artifact swap to the right thing this time. Hello, friend.
All right. You're coming in cleanly under an hour.
Wait, really? That's awesome. I didn't expect to get sub 1 hour. Let's go. Like, I had him change it. Yeah, I had him change it to from a estimate of 105 to 110 just because I didn't think that I'd be able to pull it off. But hey, let's go under an hour on the new category too.
Should have had that confidence. Quick.
Well, I mean, hey, you know what? Clearly I did because okay, maybe I came in to do my best, and whatever number I got, you know how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, I was really impressed. That's the first time I've seen some of those strats. Your PB didn't have a lot of those artifact swaps, so that was cool to watch.
Yeah, no, the artifact swaps changes the 100% category a lot.
Right,
Man,
so
I
as
remember
with
the
any
17.
percent run, this run's gonna be time when the screen fades to black. But while
Yeah.
that happens, do you have any final shout outs or anything you'd like to say, Changa?
Absolutely. I'd like to give a shout out to, first of all, the Evergate devs, the Evergate speedrun community. I wouldn't have found, obviously, half the strats without them, but they've been super supportive as I kind of dived in. This is the first game I've ever, like, formally sped run outside of, like, trying Portal once, so seeing people just be so welcoming about it is just a really, really warming experience, and everyone in the whole community is great. Being able to, like, hang out with the devs is fantastic. So thank you very much to the Evergate community. Thank you to everyone who usually watches my stream to come out, and happy Iggy Friday to you guys. And thank you to everyone. Oh, hey, I got the achievement unlock in a rush. Nice. And yeah, those are my shoutouts. Thanks to the devs, thanks to the community, thanks to the audience, and thanks to you guys for putting this Games Done Quick thing together, especially you, Sunny, for reaching out to him and just really organizing it.
Yeah, and just we got another run coming up, but while we're kind of diving,
Yeah, the low
credits-
percent showcase. That's definitely gonna be worth a watch.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be ridiculous. But yeah, while we're waiting for the fade to black, if you're interested in running this game, we have a Discord. It's the just generic Evergate Discord. There's a lot of regular talk in there as well, but we're more than happy to help you learn this game. It's a ton of fun. I know I really enjoyed running it, and it's pretty awesome.
All right. And time. What we get here?
GG's.
59.
59 even?
Yep.
All right. Let's go. I'm pretty excited about that. I mean, technically it's a world record, but first time it's been run, so technically a world
Don't
record.
count.
Let's go.
Don't count.
All right.
All right, yeah, everyone be sure to go on twitch.tv/Chongo Show. Make sure to give him a follow. And also our wonderful commentator, Sunny Muffin SR, as well. While we close out with these credits, I just have a couple of announcements to make. Tomorrow we have Runners Wanted, where we're going to be showcasing off Silhouette Mirage and Tomb Raider Underworld. Runners Wanted is a show about smaller speedrunning communities and, trying to garner some interest in those different games. And, with Evergate as well, like, it's a new game. The community is growing. If this game interests you, you're interested in, maybe doing some routing on some of the unoptimized stages, be sure to follow and join the community and check that out. And with that, we're going to have a quick ad break. I just want to thank all of our viewers and subscribers again for watching and subscribing to the channel. Remember, if you do have Amazon Prime, that means you have Twitch Gaming, and that is a free sub every month to the channel of your choice. So
Oh, God.
we'd appreciate it if you join.
I just realized my follow emotes are still on, so sorry if
Yeah.
you hear any weird Iggy Koopas.
Thank you very much for following Chongo Show, everyone. Twitch.tv/Chongo Show. Everyone go.
Oh,
Go
God.
there. Press the follow button. And yeah. With that, we're going to have a quick break, and we will be back with the last part of Evergate tonight, but we will have Sheepo after that as well. But we're going to have a low percent showcase done by ogNdrahciR, so we'll be right back right after this.
Babies.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Testing Grounds, a show where we like to showcase off new games and the communities around them. We just saw a wonderful 100% run done by Chongo Show, and we had an any percent run done by Black Rose SR before that. So we're going to actually be seeing a little bit different of a category here. This is going to be a low percent showcase, which is going to showcase off a little bit different parts of Evergate in terms of how it's done. And I'm joined by ogNdrahciR. And before we get started, I just want to remind everyone that GDQ 2021 online is coming up pretty quick with game and volunteer applications starting now until October 4th. So if you're interested in being a runner or volunteer for the event, you can go to gamesdonequick.com to get those submissions in. And we also have an online all-women speedrunning event with another event, Fleet Fatales, on November 15th. So you can go to gamesdonequick.com/framefatales for more info. And with that, I am joined by Oshu and Nuzzle Kitty. Hello.
Hi, I'm Ashi. I'm the current record holder for the low percent category, and I also am the record holder in some demo runs. And with me on commentary is Nuzzle, if she wants to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Nuzzle, and I'll be helping commentate low percent since Ashi will be busy playing.
And so a quick explanation of low percent is probably the most obvious thing is that it's not going to be reflected in the actual in-game percent. So that's tracked via essences, and we're kind of using the more demo way of tracking it of just like collectibles like crystals and petals, because one of the essences is based on speed, and we want to go as fast as possible. So we're going to be trying to get the moon essence while getting 0 petals and as few crystals as possible. And since this is a showcase and not a full run, we're going to be starting from a completed file. And just as a quick final disclaimer, the reason this is a showcase is that low percent is incredibly hard and kind of long. Like, some shots can take hours just to get once. So we're probably going to have some deaths, stuff's going to be inconsistent, and stuff might not go as planned. But if things do go really well, we might not be able to say everything and explain what's going on super well. So that said, we have 20 levels planned, and so I hope everyone's going to enjoy it, and I'm ready for a countdown if you guys are.
Yep, feel free to count us down.
Okay. So 3, 2, 1, go. And it started me off at where I left off my last test. But so we're gonna start off with 4-1. It's basically just to kind of show off how we approach routing the game. So one of the initial ways we route is by looking at what any percent does, and we're just gonna try to cut out some crystals.
So yeah, this level shares the path of 90%, but here we use the level geometry on the right to allow us to elevate above and skip a lot of crystals. And so this next level, we tried the same approach, using the any percent route while using less crystals, but we found that it was both difficult and inefficient, and ended up going straight above the end point instead of going below. Which is a bit unintended.
They really tried their hardest to make that non-possible. But the next step in routing is finding ways to just totally bypass the level altogether. If you don't have to interact with the level, you're not going to get any crystals.
So 9-7 is a clear example of this. We have known about the out of bounds since early testing, but the developers chose to leave it in as they found it rather interesting, and any interesting solution is welcome.
Camera just casually loses track of keys sometimes.
Yeah, we're completely off screen in a lot of these strats. The next one kind of goes with the same principle. We go above a level by using the fierce crystal to go up. There's a set of spikes up there as seen, but they will not stop us. This is also the one level in low percent that uses controller, because we need to control the fierce crystal off screen.
And I don't use aim assist just out of principle. And anyway, we've got a short little level here, and I'll use this opportunity to move on to some other strats we use. So something we do is called a wall jump, which is actually not what we do here. because a wall jump is more of like pushing ourselves into the object to get our jump back instead of just landing on it. And to do that easier, I'm gonna turn VSync on.
Yep, so wall jumps are not as intuitive as they sound in our in-mouse games. Here they actually require you to get stuck inside the geometry of the level, which will refresh your jump. This requires both precision and momentum, and is extremely inconsistent. Lowering the frame rate helps with this a lot, which is why VSync is turned off, on for tricks like these.
And unfortunately, it looks like VSync is not working right now. So it's a little awkward. Hopefully we'll still be able to make this.
Yeah.
Does that end up making anything like impossible to do at all?
This strat here is actually impossible if your FPS is too high. You'll just slide off the wall.
Yeah, so we'll use a slip crystal to teleport and jump around off screen. It's an extremely precise and difficult jump, followed by a wall jump. That is also pretty difficult.
So like you saw there, Key kind of clipped inside of the wall and didn't regain her jump. And that's kind of what happens when you're at too high FPS. So we might be on this level a little bit, or we might just have to skip it. I think everyone can kind of see how it's going.
Yeah, a fun trivia though is that the developers actually made this possible after we showed them you could get up on the left side.
Wow, they actually like made it possible. That's
Yeah.
great.
They adjusted the geometry of that little island so you can wall jump off it.
Yeah, it's actually not the first case of that happening either. When the game was in beta, I suggested a change to the developers that made a strat that's actually used in any percent possible. But let's see if I can get VSync maybe working. No. Okay, I'll just give this a couple more attempts and then we can move on.
It still is really cool to see. You know, we just saw a couple of runs where it was like, oh, okay, you're using the crystals, you're actually doing a lot of stuff. Ooh, I'm sorry, I spoke over that.
It's fine. I'm just glad we got it.
That was amazing. But it's really cool to see the difference in terms of, oh, okay, you can do a lot of different things with this game. You can either skip everything or get everything, and people just like enjoying it different ways.
And so with this level, we're moving into levels that include my favorite mechanic in the game, and it's totally unintended, and that's called the corner clip. And it's where you just saw, and you saw Black Rose do it earlier in the show. Can't believe I failed that jump. You'll get to see it again. It's where you jump from below and go up through the platform and then get a mid-air jump.
Yeah, so as you see, it could be seen as a mini boost crystal. It allows you to go a lot higher than you would with just a normal jump.
There we go.
So this level will combine a bit of stuff we've seen already. It starts off with a CC, then we land in this little nook in the geometry above, allowing us to skip the use of the earth crystal that you saw in any percent.
This is also the level I mentioned earlier, where the devs added a strat to allow for any percent. So we kind of referred, or at least I like to refer to that level as the Ashi skip skip.
So that used to be extremely difficult. You used to need to land on a tiny piece, a tiny pixel, besides those spikes. it was extremely tight. But with the use of a CC and the boost crystal below, you can just fly above the spikes entirely.
Definitely way, way, way easier, even though it's still pretty difficult.
This level is also pretty straightforward. We use CCs to get up top on the dragon, and then use another CC on the dragon's nose to relieve the need to activate the dragon. Then we land on this little neck and jump above.
Shoutouts to Random Nook saving you from spikes, because reasons, I guess. Some spikes just don't exist in this game.
So, what happens? Oh, this is this one, okay. So this one uses CCs to go straight up. It is theoretically faster for any percent, but is extremely difficult. So we replace some boost crystals with corner clips to get enough height to go straight up.
There we go. And so now we're going to get into some levels that use CCs to just go out of bounds and really break stuff.
So here we'll be using the momentum from this fierce crystal to corner clip on the little floating island and go out of bounds above. It should be worth noting how difficult these CCs really are. They're extremely inconsistent and with no setup to help you do them reliably.
This one actually has a setup, it's just even the setups are inconsistent in true Evergate fashion. There we go. Yeah, we don't want to mess with that.
Yeah, this is not a fun level to do properly. Once again, we'll be applying the same concept. We'll be using a couple of these earth crystals, combined with a CC, to get enough height to go on top of the island, but above the island below.
That was scary. And so yeah, we just kind of totally avoid the actual threat of this level. Not that it's too much of a threat in any person either.
Speaking of any percent, we were gonna show off the strat that Black Rose stole and used on any percent. So we replaced it with this. With a bit of clever use with the swap crystals, you can get above on that island, do a CC on the edge and jump over to the other side. And just walk above the level once again. It's a bit of a returning trend.
If you can't get on top of the level, it's not even low percent. Like, what's even the point? So, oops. Wrong level. Oh, I just realized we actually skipped this.
Yeah, I tried to talk about it before and we skipped it. Well,
My bad.
this is the first level of the game. And what happens when we apply these tricks to it? Well, we make one of the easiest levels extremely difficult. But we also skip the core mechanic of the game entirely, not using a single crystal.
That's really cool.
And actually, that ends up happening to almost the entire first world. But, so we saw an interaction with the Fierce Crystal and the CC earlier. And so now we're going to get into what happens with CCs and boost crystals, which is called the corner boost clip. It allows a whole lot of vertical momentum.
Yeah, so corner clip clips are momentum dependent, and boost crystals give you a lot of momentum. This allows you to go very high vertically, but the boost crystals add another element of unreliability and difficulty. So, a lot of these levels can often take 10, 20, 30 minutes to get in a run, which is why this is a showcase. But the low percent category really shows how you can take a lot of different approaches to the game.
And you wouldn't believe it, but these are actually the easy levels. Or the easier levels.
Yes, there is a level recently that took Ashi around 4 hours to complete.
It was, it included 6 CCs. It had multiple, like, pixel perfect CCs, a few, like, very small couple pixel landings, so very difficult. But thankfully we avoid most of that in the showcase.
Hey, there we go. This next level is kind of an extreme variation of the last one. You kind of just have to YOLO everything because of the burning crystal that destroys the platform that you want to CC off.
That went better than expected.
Wow.
That one is extremely difficult.
Great.
And so now we're getting into really crazy, insane levels. So these could very easily be like, 5 or 10 minutes to complete. There's some crazy physics going on.
Yeah, these 45-degree angle boxes do not really work. Key just clips into them weirdly while just walking above, and often refuses to land on them and slips off. So we do a corner clip on them and land in between the spikes, and then do it once again just to get above and skip the level.
Thankfully that was pretty clean.
Yeah, that looked really clean.
And we're actually coming up on the last level now.
This level used to be extremely difficult, and still is. So we get up here and then jump up. Now this ledge here, clipping off it is extremely difficult because the geometry of it does not line up with the actual visuals of it. So if you look closely, you can see her just bumping into thin air as she tries to clip on it, then followed up by a blind shot.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Well, it was close. So,
There we go. Okay.
yeah, it finishes off with a really difficult blind shot.
And that is actually the whole showcase. Kinda actually went really well, besides that one, the one wall jump. Because
You look surprised at that second to last stage. It seemed like it went so cleanly for you after
Yeah.
you said it would have taken 5 or 10 minutes to do.
Right, yeah. That's kind of why the estimate was so big, because those last few levels, they can really take, like, you can get them first or second try, or it could be 5 minutes. So,
Yeah. That was really clean. Nicely done.
thank you. So, I mean, if you guys did enjoy this run, any of the previous runs, any of that, like, if it looks interesting to you at all, please try out the game. Like, it's super amazing. You can do tons of crazy stuff. Like, there's really cool ways to approach the levels, which I hope has been shown off today. And join the Evergate Discord. We're like a really welcoming small community. And speaking of the community, Nuzzle's actually hosting a competition for the game if she wants to talk about that.
Yeah, so I do have a competition going right now. It's a speedrun competition for the 3 most popular categories: any percent, all petals, and 100%. It has a $500 prize pool that goes straight from my own pockets to incentivize people to try the game.
So hopefully people will join and participate, and we're happy to help any new runners, or just the whole community is generally pretty excited when anyone tries the game in general. And if you did like this run in particular, you can find like a clean version of the full run where it's basically what a perfect run of low percent would look like. It's around 35 minutes instead of the multiple hours it would actually take to run. And if you want to see live attempts, you can catch me at Twitch TV/ogNdrahciR. Humongous shout outs to Nuzzle for helping me both with stratting this and with the commentary today. Shout outs to Black Rose for also helping with the shots. And the biggest shout outs to the devs. They made such an amazing game. I hope everyone goes and buys it and enjoys it so much. But I hope you guys enjoyed Evergate. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the event as well.
Yeah, thank you very much for that wonderful low percent showcase. Again, this is Testing Grounds, a show where we really like showing off new games and the communities around them. And we just saw 3 runs of Evergate, and we're going to see 2 different runs of Sheepo coming up next. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, following, and also subscribing to the channel. We're going to have a quick ad break. If you don't want to watch the ads and you want to listen to some wonderful break music, be sure to subscribe to the Games Done Quick channel here. And we will be right back after this. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Testing Grounds, where we like showing off new games here. And with this, we just finished up 3 runs of Evergate, and we're joined by SmashySR, who's going to be showcasing off Sheepo All Bosses. Before we get started, I have a couple of announcements. So you can check out all of the GDQ Hotfix VODs as well as past runs on the Games Done Quick YouTube channel, Games Done Quick. And you can feel free to tweet at us, at Games Done Quick, to tell us what you're interested in. And for tomorrow, we have Runners Wanted starting at 2 p.m. Eastern, where we're going to be showcasing Silhouette Mirage and Tomb Raider Underworld. And with that, I am joined by Smashy as well as Roos. How are both of you doing?
Good, thank you.
Doing quite well. Thank you, Richard.
Yeah. Thank you very much for offering to showcase Sheepo here on Testing Grounds. So, Smashy, with that said, take it away.
All right. So I'll just do a countdown and we'll start. And did you want to mention about the easy mode?
We can talk about it during the run. Go ahead and get it started.
All right. So 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, everybody. So this is Sheepo. This came out a little over a month ago. It is a Metroidvania platformer. Metroidvania elements are fairly light, and just in case you're not familiar with the term, that basically means a platformer where you're going to find new abilities in the world, and those are going to unlock new areas for you to get to. So it's kind of an exploration-based game. And that's going to make for a really good speedrun, especially categories like this in all bosses, because we need to effectively route out what order we're going to do the bosses in and get those new abilities in order to most efficiently get through the world. And I think this in particular is a great speedrun because, as you can already see, a lot of our movement through this area is very, very quick. And it's very skillful because it's super heavily based on preserving our momentum. Sheepo just kind of accelerates as you hold in certain directions and as you come out of these little launchers right here. And being able to preserve that momentum as long as possible and get through screens quickly is very, very important. Now, you're seeing her make her way over towards the first boss. This one we pretty much always have to do first, which we'll talk about when we get there. But along the way, we're going to be seeing her using off a lot of the movement mechanics that are going to be important for this run. These launchers are very, very important because they instantly get you up to your maximum speed. And so launching yourself out of them and just like continuing to hold that without holding back in the other direction and losing your speed, really, really critical. Also grabbing a few of these little feathers right here. You can see we have 2 of them. Those are like little extra collectibles that we can grab throughout the world, and they're like a currency to unlock things. We're going to need a total of 45. There's 2 major purchases we're going to be making later on that we'll be talking about as they come up. Now, screens like this are really, really difficult to keep your momentum from those launchers. There's a lot of really, really precise movement to do to get through here quickly, and trying to like consistently get it every time is quite difficult. Now you're going to be seeing her collecting, there's I believe 30 of these little blue orb things on this screen that we need to grab. These are like keys to open specific doors. They are tied to specific doors because once you leave the screen, the orbs go away. So we unfortunately can't like carry these off to somewhere else, but you can see we collected all of them, open to that door. That's just one of the ways the game can gate us. Now, one of the most important movement abilities that you're going to be seeing her using is a term that we have termed the half hop because it was discovered by Half Coordinated originally, I believe. And the reason, what it is it's a way to use a second grounded or wall jump when you shouldn't normally be able to. You're going to just like really quickly tap a second time and you'll get basically a second grounded jump. And it's really useful because if you do it on the wall, you can actually gain height off of a single wall. Now this is the first boss we're facing here. This is Mama Bird. We've affectionately dubbed her Long Bird because she just follows us all the way up here. And it's just sort of an escape sequence. One of the cool things about this game is it's actually a pacifist platformer. You don't ever directly fight anything. The 6 bosses in the game that we do fight, you either escape from or they end up like hurting themselves. So right here you saw we pulled that lever and the rocks just kind of fall on her. She is actually just sleeping though, as we'll see later. But we grabbed our first out of 6 eggs, and that gave us the ability to grab these little birds and teleport and transform into one for a limited period of time. You can see that little red circle going around it there, and that is the time limit that we have on those birds. And you can carry them between screens, but you're somewhat limited in the distance you can get with them based on that red circle. They're still an extremely powerful pickup, though. You can see how much like height it lets us gain to get over to these feathers and things like that. So we have currently entered an area known as Dead Mall. This is just going to be a very short little visit here. We're just going on to the Wastelands. And the Wastelands is going to be containing our second boss, which is going to give us another transformation ability we're going to use in later areas. But the Wastelands has a lot of this poison water here, which will hurt you. But you're going to see her taking advantage of the very, very powerful damage boosts that this game has. A lot of platformers and games have damage boosts, but they're extremely good in Sheepo because of a couple of reasons. They don't actually like knock you back or anything like that. You just get to keep your full momentum through them, and it allows you to get through areas very quickly. And your invincibility frames are super, super long. So like you can take a hit and just walk around in spikes or something for, I haven't actually timed it, but it feels like a couple of seconds. It's very, very long. So damage boosts, very useful in this speedrun. You can see her navigating these spikes pretty well. That little green thing you see following her, that actually is indicating what her health is. You get 3 hits before you die, but the game is actually pretty forgiving with your health, especially because if you noticed at the start, she selected easy, which is the difficulty that she's playing on. Very little actually changes about the game for the most part by being on easy. What it does is it increases the number of health drops you'll get, particularly in boss fights. And then in some boss phases, there will be fewer projectiles. But in terms of speed, it's more just that it makes it a little bit more consistent, and it makes some damage boosts possible that wouldn't be possible on harder difficulties. So we've now come to our second boss here. This is Birdbot. This one is not actually associated with one of those 6 eggs. It actually is only going to give us feathers. Because this is all bosses, it is a required thing that we have to do, but it's also pretty good that we are fighting it because you get those 5 feathers out of it. You remember, we need to get to 45. So this is like actually a pretty good investment of time in order to get a rate of return on that. So pretty simple patterns here. You just kind of have to dodge the missiles and the lasers here and then redirect the... it always looks like a walkie-talkie to me. I'm not sure what it's actually supposed to be. Anyway, yeah, so this is a pretty non-threatening boss, especially on easy. I don't know, does it even actually drop any health if you take damage?
No.
Okay. I've never actually seen anybody take damage in this fight in a speedrun. But anyway, we grab ourselves 5 feathers here. We're up to 10. We'll continue to collect more along the way. One little note, you see that those launchers, they increase your max speed in the horizontal direction, but not actually vertically. So if you're just falling down a shaft or something, it's not actually helpful to use them. But sometimes, like, it could be a tiny optimization because they can grab you from very far away. And actually, that kind of gets into something that I think is an important detail for why this speedrun actually feels really, really good to run, in my opinion. And it's that a lot of decisions were made to feel very forgiving in favor of the player. Like, you can grab those birds from very, very far away, and like you can, super far away. And you can grab those launchers from a long distance. And if you've ever heard of Coyote Time, it's actually very forgiving as well. Coyote Time is a sort of grace period that the game gives you after you run off of a ledge where you can still jump. And because that window is so large, that's actually what allows the half hops to work. Even though you've jumped off of the wall, you're actually still considered on it for long enough that you can get a second jump in. You can see her doing those right there. She's essentially jumping off the wall and then immediately jumping again, and that's gaining her enough height and momentum to climb up single walls, whereas normally, if you're not using the half hops, you would need 2 walls to jump back and forth in between. Making a few detours here for some more feathers. We're up to, was that 15, I believe?
I don't remember on this one.
I think it's 15. All right, so we are now into Dead Worm. This is the 2nd egg boss, but the 3rd total boss that we've faced. And the way that Dead Worm here works is he's going to show you that he's about to crash down into the ground. And he would be destroying terrain, but if you step right next to the door here, this terrain can't actually be destroyed.
He actually doesn't do it in the very beginning.
Oh, he doesn't?
No.
It shows you how much I know.
This is where he starts to,
I'm just an 90% runner, so I'm confused about a lot of things I'm seeing here.
Now he's going to destroy the floor.
Okay, there you go. You see he is actually taking the terrain out. So a little bit of strategy has to be used here to make sure that you don't lose any like convenient places to stand. But thanks to some pretty intelligent work on Smashy's part here, she's just going to make sure to kind of slowly inch the destruction over and leave herself enough time to have safe spaces for later on. That is poison water down below her that she needs to be watching out for. While we've got a second here, while she's finishing out this boss, I would like to give a huge shout out to the developer of this game. This was a solo developed project by Kyle Thompson. Kyle, super, super cool dev, like one of the best devs of any speed community I've been in. He's been extremely supportive. He joined the Discord almost immediately when we started running it and has added in so many features at our request that have made it better for speedrunning. Just to list a few, he put in a speedrun mode that automatically instantly skips all text boxes, so you don't have to mash. He added in like a zoom in and out feature, so you can pull the camera out and see like what the layout of the rooms are. At half coordinated suggestion, he added like an accessibility mode that takes out some flashing lights and things like that. And
actually makes it useful for a lot of things.
Very, very useful. And it will put a number up on your health instead of a color. So like if you're colorblind, you can still you can tell the difference between your health. So much loves to Kyle Thompson, fantastic developer, and we are all a super big fan. All right, so having finished off the snake boss there, Dead Worm, I think is the name, we are now able to transform into these little skeleton snakes. Those will only be found in ground, and they let you go through these little dirt tunnels. Most of it is dirt tunnels, but sometimes there's like little floating islands and things like that you can go through. So there's not a ton in the way of unintended skips we can do with them, but they do allow us to use some sort of like intended backdoors between areas. There's like certain paths that you can only take if you go through the little snake ones, which we'll talk about as they come up. Now we're back at the beginning area where we fought Mama Bird, and the reason we're here is, one, to get to a different area, but you can just drop down and see Mama Bird stuck in the ground there. It lets us grab a feather, continue on our way to the 45 total that we need. You can see the power of half hops here. The fact that we're able to get 2 jumps and still have our double jump for midair lets us get around some like little jutting out things in the wall right there. That actually is the technique behind any percent, which you guys are going to see after this run, but spoiler alert, any percent is really, really short, and it's because half hops let you skip a lot of content. thanks to those birds there, we're able to pretty quickly grab some feathers as well. We're actually just backtracking through all of the area you would have seen in the first couple of minutes right now, and the reason is because we need to get to an area that is above the place that we started. And we'll be returning here a few times. The ultimate goal of the game is we need to collect the 6 eggs from the bosses and then return to the spaceship that we spawned in. So fortunately, there is a convenient like fast travel point right by that we'll be returning to quite often. But first, we need to return to our ship and grab a few feathers, and then go to the it's called the upper landing area to get off to our next boss.
Actually, we're going to Underbelly.
That is correct. We're going to Underbelly next.
The route has changed like so much.
Yeah,
in the 5 weeks it's been.
And I think it's worth pointing out that because it's a Metroidvania and there is a lot of options for where to go, there are currently several routes for quite a few of the categories. I think Any% is the only one that has like a set in stone route. Mm-hmm. The others all have multiple different routes that are being routed by different runners. For example, the other like very fast runner of this category, Kutiru, who I believe I saw in chat earlier, does a route that's slightly different than this. And so like because it's such a new game, there's just a lot of stuff that needs to be tested and looked at. So if anybody is excited by this game, there is still so much new thing. There's so many new things being found and like new optimizations being found that it is far from too late to get in. So like if you're intimidated by getting into a speedrun, like do not be by this one, because there's a lot of new things to be found, a lot of like time to be saved. You could see there she lost a little bit of time because when you're playing the spine worm here, if you accidentally run into some walls like out of dirt, you kind of get popped back out of it, and that can make a few tight like corners that you need to turn pretty tricky and definitely possible to lose some time. But fortunately, Smashy, very, very skilled runner, so hopefully she shouldn't be having too much trouble with those. Casually, at least in this part, I think Underbelly was like one of the most difficult areas for me, because like controlling these spine worms to hop out of the dirt between those different like safe spots is quite a bit more difficult than it might look. It's definitely harder than she's making it look, I'll say that. Seeing a return of the blue orb mechanic here, we have to collect those with the spine worms, and you're actually on a bit of time pressure. As you can see, there's a red circle counting down around you while you are the worm, and that's how long you have to either get out of the ground or get into another worm and refresh it. You'll start to take damage if you don't do that. Fortunately, at least the intended routes always have more worms that you can go into to keep yourself from taking damage, but we're going to be trying to push the limits of what we're able to do a few times, and it can get a little bit spooky. There's another example of like the fun ways that this game is pretty forgiving on its ranges. She was able to put those keys in the door from like a roof above it, thanks to just being close enough to it. I don't think we actually talked about those little pedestals. Those are save points. We're not actually going to have to go back to any saves at any point during this run, but they do refill your health. And they cost absolutely no time to activate, so a lot of times you just grab them because, why not? But the health refills can be extremely useful.
Okay, this next room's kind of unkind sometimes.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the hardest rooms in the speedrun because there's going to be a very tight angle that she needs to grab, that she needs to like launch out of the floor with the worm here. I'll point it out as it's coming up. She's going to collect a few of these blue orbs, and then as she comes around to this top area, we're going to try and bypass having to do a second trip through the room. We're going to grab this one and try to launch through. Nice, she got it. That didn't look like much because it worked, but I promise you that's actually like a really finicky little one to do, because if you touch the left wall too early, it's going to bounce you back in the wrong direction. And if you don't turn fast enough after you've come out, you won't quite cut it over to that other one either. So, good on you, Smashy, to have made that first try. This is a little NPC that wants to show his collection of ancient fossils or something like that. He will show you some feathers. He'll give you some feathers if you like come back to the bottom and talk to him again. But then you have to go all the way back around. Just not worth it to really collect that feather, unfortunately.
Pretty slow.
Would be nice if we found a way to like get it from him immediately, because we have to walk right past him anyway. Good job not getting hit any of those spikes there. So the game is pretty wide open with a lot of its progression options, but you can see the fact that this area does depend on the bone worm power-up that we got from that spine worm boss does mean that there's at least a few restrictions on what areas we can go to. The final area is Deep Woods, and that's one that we're going to need some other abilities to get through, barring some just really, really, really awful damage boost strats that save almost no time and kill your run if you don't like get it perfectly. So we definitely don't do that. It saves like 2 seconds and is super, super hard. We're now on to Froggo King. This is kind of a fun boss. He goes through alternating patterns of stomping on you, and then he will shoot some projectiles at you and do sort of a bullet hell style thing. This is one of the bosses that I would say easy makes the most difference on, because the number of projectiles he shoots changes a good bit based on what difficulty you're on. So we shouldn't really have too much trouble with it. He's going to alternate between shooting these homing attacks, and then he's going to stomp, and then he's going to start doing an attack where he just jumps and shoots his shots around in a circle. So as long as you know these patterns, fairly easy to dodge. And what we're going to get out of this boss is the ability to activate some teleporter pedestals. We've actually seen a few so far where there's a little pedestal that looks kind of like the Froggo King here, and it has these cute little, I don't know if you guys have ever had the candied dots, but it kind of looks like dots with legs on them, little cylindrical guys. But that is essentially a fast travel point. And it's pretty cool. Going back to the thing about the game being very forgiving in favor of the player, the teleporters are active as soon as you get into the room. You don't even have to go walk close to the pedestal or anything like that. So we've actually got quite a few pedestals active already, even though we haven't gone out of our way to get any of them. I really love the art style of this game. Like, it's very simple and clean, but it's just visually appealing. Like, all the characters are cute, the colors are like vivid and primary. Everything is just like clear and it pops out. Also a big fan of the music. It's very, very good. That's the one downside of any percent, I will say, is, well, one, you don't get to see like almost any content in the game, and two, you only hear the very first song. You miss out on just like so many good tracks in the OST. So that behind us there is one of the pedestals that we'll be able to warp in between now that we've grabbed this egg. This is our third one, I want to say. Or is this fourth?
I think it's... Oh gosh, now I'm confused ready to go. Sorry, I was trying to think.
I was distracting you, my bad.
We'll be passing the ship. You'll be able to...
So this is that warp point that we're going to be coming back to quite a bit. This one is located right next to the landing, and landing is somewhat centrally located. I would say it's not quite as central as Dead Mall is. That's probably the place we're going to be doing the second most return trips to. Okay, so 3 eggs so far. Got 3 more to go. And now is a return to Dead Mall, is that correct?
Yes, we're going to the next one, which is, yeah, that's in technically the Dead Mall area, Upper Dead Mall. What am I doing? I'm taking the bird this way. Sorry, it's hard to run and speak. But yeah, it's the next one's Slime Queen, and we'll see a slime or two as we're going on our way there. We'll see what they kind of look like.
And this category is a very exciting one to watch right now because there is so much variation in between the routes that the various runners are using. You've got this route that Smashy is doing, but the current world record route comes to this area quite a bit earlier and kind of splits it up 50-50. It comes in here and gets a one of those teleport pedestals and comes back later. So because so many things get moved around between the different routes, it's quite difficult to just like directly time which one is faster. So there's a lot of work being put into these routes right now to figure out what the best way to do it is. Now in Upper Landing here, one of the sort of the gimmick of this area is these wind drafts. You're gonna have 2 colors. There's the blue ones and the red ones, and the switches can flip between like the wind gusts coming out of the red ones and coming out of the blue ones. And so casually you have to figure out all these puzzles where you figure out like when do you need to swap the different colors. Now fortunately, because of half hops, we can bypass almost all of it, but you know, we still can use them to kind of speed us up a little bit. You can see her demonstrating the fact that those wind gusts refresh your double jump. And, you know, I keep bringing up how how good it feels to play this game because of its being forgiving in favor of the player, but lots and lots of different things refresh your double jump in this game. Anytime you screen transition, you're going to get your double jump back. Anytime you come out of like one of those transformations, you'll get your double jump back. Touching the wind currents gets you your double jump back, all that sort of stuff. And that does open up a few options for us. Like there's some tricks, I don't think in this run, but in any percent, there's a trick where you kind of take advantage of a screen transition to give yourself quite a bit more double jumps than you're supposed to have.
I think I was gonna make it.
This is a cute little puzzle here where you have to make a circle around the moon in order to get that painter bird to give you a feather. Pretty much all of the side questing we're going to do in this is going to be giving us feathers because we need to get to that all-important 45 feather count.
I think I was gonna make that.
Well done to make it through there, though. She's intentionally holding off on swapping those gusts of wind so that that last one can help carry her up to the final jump she needs to do. So we are now back into the Dead Mall area. We had a very brief visit here earlier, but it was basically just to pass through to get over to the wasteland. But now we are going to be staying here for a little bit longer and doing quite a bit of the content here. And Smashy is going to show off a lot of the interesting like combinations of movement mechanics you can get here. You've got those like grapple squares, you've got the launchers, and you've got the half hop climbing. And it's super fun to chain all these things together cleanly. Like when you really nail that movement and you get to just go through and keep all your momentum, it feels really, really good. I think this, like a lot of the reason a lot of runners have picked this game up and stuck with it is the movement just feels very satisfying when it goes well. And it's very, very like skill demanding. For a game that's like fairly simple, it has quite a bit of complex movement in its speedrun.
I'm at 1 health. Okay, it just disconnected. Yes.
Yep. Do you want me to restart it real quick?
Well,
All right.
Okay. Are we back?
Yeah, things look fine now. I'm just going to go ahead and
That's fine.
we're good.
Okay.
Feel free to keep going.
So are we good to continue?
Yep.
Okay. So now finishing up our trip through Dead Mall here.
I'm kind of at low health here. I'm usually at full health.
Okay, so this is oh boy,
Be
a little bit of a safety strat here because we're at 1 health. Oh no. Okay.
Just kidding, I went really far back. Okay.
That is unfortunate.
Well, the stream cut out. You guys get to see it.
Yeah, that was an intentional death so that we could show off all the content that you guys missed when OBS died there. It's going to be completely fine. Just we wanted to make sure that you guys got your money's worth in chat. So I want everyone in chat, I want you to imagine the funniest commentary I could have possibly said. That is what I said while the stream was down, I promise. Oh, they did? Well,
Yeah.
they know I'm lying then. I didn't actually say anything funny.
Well, I preserved that one.
Okay, fortunately grabbed that save, so if the same thing happens again, we will be heading back. And we'll have to go quite as far again, but I don't think we're going to have any trouble this time. Smashy usually doesn't get that section without... It gets that section without any trouble. Still at full health this time. We were in red health last time, so we're doing just fine.
Well, usually I grab this one. And I didn't grab that one.
I just love watching movement across horizontal sections in this game, like especially when you have one of those pull, like grapple squares or a launcher, and you can just absolutely rocket through them super fast.
Wow. We could just boost.
Yeah, now we get to show off how amazing damage boosts are in this game. You can see like she doesn't get affected by those spikes at all. She can just waltz right through them. And yeah, you take damage, but you're invincible for a very long time after using them. If anybody does pick this up after watching this, you can, and you're wondering how is Smashy sliding down the walls so quickly like that? That's another thing that was found somewhat recently. If you just hold down on the analog stick, or if you're on keyboard, if you just hold your down key, while you're up against the wall, you actually continue to fall down at full speed, which is really, really helpful. That's actually, like, before we knew about that, that was one of the easiest ways to accidentally kill your momentum and really lose a lot of speed, is if you accidentally touched a wall, you would just, like, immediately cling onto it and just lose so much velocity.
Oh gosh, this is very awkward.
Awkward distance for a half hop there. All right, so we are up to 37 feathers now of the 45 that we need, so we're closing in pretty well on the total count that we're trying to find. The run is pretty front-loaded in how many of the feathers we collect. A lot of the ones later on, I think, take a little bit longer. Nice use of the pole squares there to get a lot of horizontal momentum there. And these sections are pretty tricky because of these those little platforms. You can see them moving. They're basically like conveyor belts, so they can really mess with. Playing it safe. There is a damage boost. Oh, okay. Well, there was a damage boost coming up that we wanted to do.
No,
I'm thinking of it. Oh goodness.
I think I have 30. Wait, why do I have 38? I think it was 38.
Yeah, I think did I say 37 or 38? I thought I said 37.
It did because I went into a room, but
right.
We'll get to this guy.
That's 38. Yeah, no 39.
That's 39.
Math is hard. Well, getting a live demonstration of how difficult the platforming in this section can be, because as soon as you step onto those conveyor belts, you get kind of launched off really quick.
I shouldn't have hit that other one to begin with.
You're doing fine.
I just didn't have my momentum.
And we get a full health regen right here anyway. Oh, we were that close. Okay, on to Slime Queen. This is one of the more fun bosses in the game, I think. I really enjoy this one. So the Slime Queen is going to continually go around the arena here, and as you see, she leaves behind slime, so it sort of like brings the walls in, so the arena gets tighter and tighter. And she doesn't actually damage you herself, but her shots are going to stick onto the wall and then launch out these kind of like little bloom effects of shots, and those are the ones that you have to watch out for. And then she's going to fire these big ones right here, and they're going to home in on you, and you have to redirect them back at her. So this fight is kind of like an auto-scroller. The big way you can save time on this one is making sure that those ones that you have to direct back at her, you get those first try right away. Other than that, you just kind of have to let her do her thing. It is, I believe, the longest fight in the game as well.
That does switch. We get heals between phases anyway.
Yeah, thanks to Easy, we don't have to worry too much about our life, as long as you're not taking multiple hits per phase. And Smashy's done this fight enough times to know generally what's a good place to run away to stay away from these shots. Now, it's not, she doesn't always shoot to the same spot. I think it has like semi-homing properties, but she still kind of goes like, generally shoots like from one side to the other. It does get a little bit harder to dodge as these things get smaller and smaller, though. The arena is really tight at this point. And that should do it.
This is where the photosensitivity off comes in handy, because when she dies, she actually has a like white burst, but then you can see where you're going if it's black. So that's where it comes in handy.
So this gave us the ability to transform into these little slime balls. It's not an ability we're going to see a ton in the run, but it is going to allow us to get through a couple of areas with spikes later on in an area known as Deep Woods. It's a useful ability because it lets you crawl around on like the ceiling and walls, and even though we do have a lot of ability to get around areas we're not supposed to with path hops, there are still some like long extended spiky sections where the intended way is to use the slime to get around on the ceiling. So it's still going to be useful for a couple of things, and it is all bosses, so we are of course required to actually do it. Now we're going to be making a trip to a shop right here that's going to be what we have been gathering all of these feathers for. And right here, we're going to be spending 35 of them to get the gallery ticket, or gallery invite. And the gallery is sort of a late game area where we go, and it's got some challenges involving all of the different abilities we get from bosses. And Smashy's going to be making a trip there right now. We're not actually going to be finishing it out. We're just going to go and we're going to activate a teleporter in there because we are going to need to come back later. And this is about as close as we're going to pass by the gallery anyway. So it just kind of makes sense to come over there and get a teleporter activated so we don't have to do a longer walk later. I just love the color scheme in this game. It's just so so vibrant. Very like visually appealing game to look at, I think.
Yes, new telestrat. I will be attempting that.
So this is the gallery.
Oh,
The first part here just kind of has some cutscenes with a NPC. Fortunately, because of speedrun mode, we just get to bypass all of that. That speedrun mode probably cut out like 30 seconds right there. This, I think, low-key, like the hardest screen in the entire game right here, because trying to control this bird to like go do the connect the dots puzzle here before it runs out is like way more difficult than it looks. Usually takes me like 3 or 4 tries, so Smashy making it look like super easy. What a professional. All right, so this is a new strat we just found here where you can activate this teleporter by just, even though like what you're supposed to do is just have that teleporter active by being in the room and then leave and teleport there from another one. But by delaying your jumps there, you can actually activate the teleporter from within the room and teleport to it and have that active for later without having to backtrack to another one. Like you don't have to walk back out of there, you just get to teleport out. So we are making a short return trip to the underbelly, and this is just going to give us access to what's the next area we're going to? Deep Woods, and that's the last area we'll be going to, other than like a few return trips for some cleanup stuff. And Deep Woods is an area that has quite a few like extended spiky sections that you're supposed to use that that slime transformation to get through, which we will be seeing a little bit of.
Fingers are not working. Okay.
This game will do a little bit of a workout on your thumb, that's for sure, because like optimally you want to be doing a lot of these half hops because they actually do climb walls faster for you than just regular wall jumping. So a good little bit of double tapping.
Okay.
And it's kind of a thing you get into a rhythm with the more you run it. It's not like it's not a mash, it's more like a quick rhythm, like tap 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 tap. So having spent 35, we're looking for a total of 10 more feathers. We're at 8, so we just need 2 more. So we'll be making a few deviations to grab those feathers as we come through here and then head on to our 5th boss out of the 6 total that we'll need to do. Just refreshing your duration bar here. I'm always impressed that you can remember what path to take in that screen more than anything.
It's pretty straightforward once you've done it a lot. That was just for 2 keys.
So this is a fun screen. This is supposed to have these little treadmills you step on to raise these logs up, but we're actually going to be able to bypass it quite a bit. You can see because of how forgiving the ranges are on those launch points, we can just kind of stand on top of it and pull yourselves through and bypass having to pull them up entirely. That does mean it doesn't work on this one, though, because you do actually have to be able to stand on top of it, and there's not a pull point past it either. So rather than having to stand and like raise up all of them, we only have to do it on 2 of them. So that was a super cool find. Was that Cutie Roo who found that? Yeah, good find there. That's a fun strat.
Because I want a damage boost for this, because it's super hard to get through.
Ooh, that's spooky.
Yeah, it's very scary. So I like to have a damage boost. And then I take that health if I'm at 1, so I can do this. So that's why easy is nice, because it has several health drops throughout the run. So
yeah, it speeds you up mostly by having those health drops rather than making any sections like specifically easier.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Well, I saved. Oh my.
Oh no. One of the real challenges of running this game is knowing your movement well enough to know when and exactly how many half hops you need to do to climb through certain areas, because the thing about the half hops is even though they're extremely powerful as a movement technique, they make you very fast. They do kind of have like a minimum distance they can move you. So if there's a section where like there's a roof very close to where you're trying to get through, sometimes you need to specifically not half hop because it might be so high that it like bonks you on the roof and sends you back down into the corridor you were climbing. And you know, it's really important in the context of a run, you know, being able to quickly adapt and say, oh, I messed up a half hop and I fell a little bit. Now how many half hops do I want to do to get through this as quickly as possible? Because, you know, in any percent, the run is short enough that you can just say, oh, I messed something up, I'm starting over. But all bosses as a longer category, this is something where you need to accept it. Like some mistakes are going to happen, and being able to adapt quickly on the fly is just a super important skill to have. Once again, showing off how incredibly powerful damage boosts are, only taking 1 damage going through that entire section, and it just making it so much faster than like bothering to try and dodge through them.
Same here. Although we're just going to make it without damage.
Very nice. That cycle lined up really nicely there. Okay, so this is a interesting boss here. As you saw, what you're supposed to do is get that bone worm and then come up into the arena, and it'll teleport you out. And you're supposed to kind of jump in between these logs and not fall into the spikes. But if you hold to the left so that you bonk into that log before coming out of it, and you skip the opening cutscene, for some reason you are completely invincible in here. Now you do lose control, so you just kind of like get bounced around here. But all we have to do is just set the controller down and wait.
And sometimes we get a log to ride all the way down.
We'll get to see some interesting visual stuff here as we sink below the floor. It's going to start to zoom out, and we'll get to see...
No, it doesn't.
Oh, wait, it doesn't?
No,
wait.
You do that on your own. I did that.
Wait, you zoomed it out with the mod. Okay, well, what's happening right now is we're continually sinking down and down and down and down and down until the fight ends, but I guess without using the zoom mod, we're not actually going to be seeing... You guys get to enjoy this pretty cool boss fight music, though. While we've got a little bit of time here, we can talk about the ability that this fight is going to give us. It's going to give us the Slingo transformation. Only going to be able to see it a couple of times in the run, unfortunately. Real tragic because it's a super, super fun transformation. If any of you have ever played Mario Galaxy and have used the little pull stars, you're going to be right at home with this power-up because there's going to be little grapple points around certain rooms, and when you're in the Slingo transformation, you can press the button to like latch onto it with your tongue and pull yourself towards it. And if you time it right, like you kind of like maximize pulling to the furthest one away from you, you can really rocket through some of these rooms super fast. It's really, really like neat movement to see. This is a Slingo transformation right up here, so you'll get a quick little demonstration. Just gonna go into that and just whoop. Well, that's the downside to them, is if you don't time quite perfectly, you can accidentally latch onto one of the previous ones. But still, like even with that, you can still like move quite quickly just because it's such fast movement. So we've now returned to the gallery to do the second half of it that we missed out on last time. You can see how each of these rooms is like a connect the dots puzzle that interacts with one of those powers that we got from a boss. So actually finishing this out is like kind of locked behind having done the bosses. I don't think we've figured out ways to like skip through all this without them, unfortunately, which would be cool if we could, but not quite there yet.
Yet being the key word.
Well, considering how many things we've found in the game so far, I definitely don't want to say there is no way, because we will probably find another way.
Right.
All right, so we found our 6th egg here, which now we just need to continue on back to the rocket ship and put them in, and that will finish up the game for us. As mentioned before, goal was to get our 6 eggs and then head on to the rocket ship. So, you know, pretty clean run, not too bad. A couple of mistakes out of Smashy, but honestly, like, really not too bad at all. What's going on with your 6th egg there? Oh, I think we actually got bamboozled, unfortunately. So this is a little bit of story stuff that we're missing out on, but because of the speedrun mode. But we thought we got the 6th egg there, and it turns out that art gallery bird actually tricked us, and that was a fake glitched egg. So unfortunately, got one more thing we got to do, and that's what the other 10 feathers were for. We had to purchase an elevator ticket, and we're going to be coming back over to this over to Upper Dead Mall again. We actually passed this elevator earlier, but weren't able to do anything with it without this this elevator ticket.
God, where am I gonna go? I don't usually do that.
I was going to say, that seemed like unusual movement for what you do there. But anyway, here's the elevator. Then thanks to that ticket, we can ride this up to the final area. And we're going to get one more boss fight, and that will get us our final egg. And the All Bosses run is getting close to done here.
Hello?
And actually close to done this time, not memes. This is a particularly cool boss. I'd say this is probably, in my opinion, the most enjoyable one, and definitely the most challenging one.
Definitely.
This boss coming up is called the Beast, and it combines a chase sequence with more of an actual fight. It's kind of like a bullet hell type thing that we'll see. But what's cool about the chase sequence is it combines a lot of the technique. Oh no. Okay, we're fine. Combines a lot of the movement tech that we've seen throughout the run, and like all the different transformations and power-ups and things like that. I think all of them except for the teleport, like fast travel points. But just a little bit of movement before we get there. This is good Slingo movement there.
Oh, I had a lot of momentum. One of the best poses.
That's not a PS5 controller on the sign. That is the Beast's face, which, you know,
gosh.
definitely a PS5 controller. But anyway, this is a sort of like a chase sequence, like, you know, Bowser chasing you or something. We just have to get through all of these different transformations before it gets to. Does it just actually instantly kill you if it catches you, or is it?
No, I think it hits you.
Okay, well that's good.
I haven't done that since like casual. You can. It doesn't like rubber band or anything, so
Okay.
you can get away from it pretty fast. But it once you get to the next screen where you actually fight it, it will spawn. So
Okay.
it's really just as fast as you can go here. Because usually you'd see it like coming out. Yeah, there you go.
All right, so now into the second phase here. This is sort of a bullet hell style, where it's going to be going through a few patterns of lasers here. And in addition to these shots it's firing out, it's also going to occasionally stomp its foot down, so you have to be watching out for that as well. Definitely one of the bosses that it's like more possible to die in, even on easy, I would say. There's not a ton of health drops, and it's got one of the most threatening attack patterns of any of the different bosses. Fortunately, not putting its leg over on the side we were on there.
This is probably the hardest phase, and then this one isn't too bad, except for the foot.
Good dodges so far here.
And then it may not look like it, but this next phase I actually think is the easiest. Oops. Shoot.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
All right, we're good.
I actually think this is the easiest phase.
I don't think it stomps its leg at all
No,
during
it
this
doesn't.
phase, so that's probably part of what makes it easier.
But you don't get any health drops between the second and the third, so.
All right, so we get another redirect shot like in the Slime Queen, and just one hit finishes it off. And now we get to collect our actual 6th egg here. And we'll continue on a little bit off to the left here. The Gallery Bird will apologize to us for the fake egg, and we are actually really close to time. We're going to teleport here and just go over to the switch. Time will be when she talks to the bird on top of the ship, and time.
Still under 45. Even with
Yeah.
this. So.
GG.
Very nice. That was a super cool run.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a 44 even with the like big upper dead mall death is like pretty good. Very nicely done.
Yeah, and that's actually not the last we're going to be seeing a Sheepo, because Smashy's going to be doing an any % run. Do you want to just get right into that?
Yeah, we'll just go right into it.
All right. Feel free to just give me a countdown whenever you're ready.
Got to get through the credits real quick, but as
Okay.
such a small,
You can speed them up too, and they're not very long.
yeah, as a small project, it's pretty quick to
I'll
get
let
through.
them play after the any %. Okay. Just that. Alright. I'm ready whenever.
Yep, give us a countdown.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so we're now we're in my wheelhouse. This is like the only category I've actually run of this game. All of those areas I'm like super confused on when I watch them. So anyway, any percent. Any percent is half hop the speed run. We're basically just going to be, well, you know what? I don't want to spoil the surprise for you guys. We're not going to be doing a lot of the game. I will promise you that. First thing we got to do is get out of the ship here, just like in the other category. And this is definitely an area where half hops can super, super highly optimize your movement there. In a run like this, it's super important to be getting like every little jump and every little bit of momentum you possibly can just right, because seconds matter so, so, so much. So just like in the All Bosses run, we're just going to be continuing off to the right over here and making sure to preserve our momentum through here with things like this. By taking the quick little half second to go up and grab that launcher, we actually are able to go through the next screen so much faster. Little things like trying to cut these corners around the spikes here, very, very important as well. Just trying to, you know, optimize every little millisecond out of it we possibly can. Got to grab ourselves a few keys. Now, fortunately, because this is any percent, we're not actually going to need any of those feathers like we did before. Gonna completely bypass the ones that we took time to grab earlier, like that one right above us there. Gonna get another shot at this room right here, see if we can get the quick momentum through. We call this the stair room because of this little section right here. Oh, almost. Just clipped a little edge there. Not that big of a deal. It's, you know, this is more of a marathon performance than a, you know, hardcore PB grind. All of this should still look fairly familiar from the All Bosses run, except for the fact that we're not collecting those feathers. Just got to grab our quick 30 orbs here. Whoop, didn't quite grab it. Yeah, you can just grab it as you come back underneath it. Okay, and let's see if you can get your quick little movement up there. Very nice, very nice. I think this little room with the 5 launchers in it is probably the thing that evolved like the most of any room in any percent, because people have come up with like increasingly more and more efficient ways to collect those 4 little keys in there with like using less and less of the teleporters. All right, so we're now in the Mama Bird room, but we're not actually going to be activating Mama Bird at all because this is any percent. Instead, we're just going to be going up the left side here so we don't have to interact with all those slow puzzles and things over on the right-hand side. We're just going to be going up about halfway. And once we have made it part way, we're just going to come over here. We're going to do this last little part just because these launchers and pull squares are a little bit quicker than half hopping up that wall there. And don't even need to use the lever. We're just going to use a half hop and a double jump to grab this egg. And in the All Bosses run, we continued off to the right, but don't need to do that in any percent. We just needed that ability to grab a bird. And the reason we need that is just because of the pretty serious verticality we can get out of the bird ability. And we're going to be heading back off to the left. So kind of like fortunately for the any percent run and keeping it interesting, even though we are now traversing back over territory we already did, because the game is so heavily based on keeping your momentum and interacting with things like those launch stars, the fact that we're going back in the other direction actually almost completely changes these rooms. Like, I don't really think of it as going through the same rooms. They're completely different on the second path. And actually, we're taking a slightly different path back through because of that launcher right there. Really awesome damage boost right there. That's actually not a solid wall. It's just damage, so you can just launch yourself straight through it and preserve all your momentum. More really, really awesome damage boosts. Just going to sail right through this entire screen with the bird, preserve our momentum. Good job not hitting any of those walls there.
I kind of slowed down a little.
Okay, and the reason that we went over to Mama Bird was to get this bird right here. We're now back on the spawning screen where we first began, and we just needed to get up here because, as you will see by that purple color, we're actually in a pretty late game area right now. Just got to climb up this wall here. Lost your double jump, unfortunately. This is a bit of a tricky jump. Definitely takes a little bit of practice to like get it down cleanly. But don't worry, we are doing just fine. Very nice. Got ourselves around it there. Just got to continue climbing up. This is why I called it half hop the run, because this is like so much of the speed run right here. And right there, you can see that she used that cool double jump refresh that I was talking about. Because she dipped below it and into a new screen, she actually got her double jump back. So even though she had double jumped on her like trip across the screen, she got to double jump again back into the screen and then double jump yet again because of the second stage transition. And right here, you can see we are at the part where the bird comes and apologizes to us after the beast. And that actually just gave us the final egg. And so you don't actually need all 6 eggs to finish off the run. You just need that one. So as soon as we fall into the ship, it's going to be time. Coming up in time. Good job.
That's actually a PB. I didn't finish the time. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, excellent run.
How long did...
As 5:13.
I don't know if you heard you.
All right, very nice. So what was that, 45 for all bosses and 515 for any percent? Yeah, you can see.
It was actually less than 5:15, yeah.
Yeah, so 40 full minutes cut out by any percent.
That is impressive. So, Smashy, do you have any final shout-outs or anything you want to say while we play through the credits here?
Yeah, so definitely, like Ruth said earlier, Kyle is amazing. He's been really helpful. And he joined the community like after like 3 days of the game being out. So, and then definitely the speedrunning community for Sheepo. Obviously, we would have found all this without their help. And then thank you for commentating.
You're very welcome.
And
thanks for running.
Thanks, Rich, for bringing this to my attention.
Yeah, thank you for running. I appreciate it. Everyone go follow twitch.tv/SmashySR.
And play the game. I think this game it's like $10 or less. It's very cheap, and like the developer deserves support, and it's a super fun, casual, and good speedrun. I highly encourage people to check it out.
Yeah, and everyone actually, right now, the Sheepo directory has 77 followers. So if you're interested in Sheepo, go to twitch.tv/directory/game/Sheepo and check out the game. There are a lot of, people in the community that have been doing runs of it lately. Yeah. And so it's been pretty cool to see all the categories develop as the game has just recently come out.
Yeah, it's only been out for like 5 weeks, so pretty fresh.
Yeah, and with that, that concludes Testing Grounds for tonight. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I want to remind everyone that we have an all-woman speedrunning event, Frame Fatales, returning with another event, Fleet Fatales, on November 15th, 2020. You can go to gamesdonequick.com/Frame Fatales for more info on that. And tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, we have Runners Wanted, where we're going to be showcasing off Silhouette Mirage and Tomb Raider Underworld. So be sure to check out both of those runs tomorrow, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern. And I want to thank everyone again for watching. If anyone's watching the VOD on YouTube, be sure to subscribe on the YouTube channel and click on that bell icon. And with that, have a good night, everyone.
All right, thank you.